Good morning. It is a Would You Rather Wednesday edition of Glenn Clark Radio. I'm Glenn. He's Griffin.
What happened to Wednesdays with Drew?
He came in without any prepared shtick, which was very strange for him.
Well, what happened to that? I thought I was in the title.
Yeah.
I thought I was in the title.
Yeah, you almost made it. Almost made it. Don't worry. I'm sure your name's up on the marquee, though, outside.
Oh, yeah, it is.
You noticed that. Drew Forrester, Drew'sMorningDish.com, is in studio with us for whatever reason, because I think he's just at the point of his life where he's just old. He's got nothing
I carve out.
I
I need this $400. I carve this out every Wednesday. All right.
You got to text that to Bruce at some point. Like, you really have to.
You can take this job.
You have to.
I told you about.
Say, Bruce.
Did I ever tell you what I did at Mount Pleasant when I was working there?
I don't know that you did.
So I'm going to say this is 2002, 2001. I'm working at the broadcasting school and still playing most of my golf. It must have been like 99 or 2000. Still playing most of my golf at Mount Pleasant. Still getting paid by the soccer team, even though it wasn't there anymore. And I'm in this like period of my life.
How did you get that job?
Well, I had a contract.
I know, but I want that.
Oh, well, you don't know anything about soccer.
No. I did, but but I didn't need to. The soccer team wasn't there anymore. I'm saying I want there to be a website where you can go to and say, I want to sign up for a job that doesn't exist.
Right. Well, I mean, it existed. They just didn't want me to do it anymore.
Right.
So, but I had a contract for 14 months, and they were paying me, and okay, fair enough. Then I went to Buffalo and went up there and froze for 3 days, and they offered me a job. I'm like, is it always this cold up here? I think I'll pass. But anyway, so.
And look at you.
Yeah, right. Look, that was a great move. I'm sitting here with you. So worked at Mount Pleasant one day a week because, dirty little secret, you got free golf. I mean,
sounds like a good reason to do it.
I mean, I honestly think the wage at that point was like $4.15. It was stupid, right? I'm 38 years old. I'm working 6-hour shift, but I want free golf.
Right.
And they weren't, God bless them, they weren't smart enough to realize they were getting the bad end of the deal. I mean, I'm playing 5 days a week there.
And he would have paid to do that.
Right. Right. So, anyway.
It's not like me going over there to work. I would never pay for golf.
I'm working. So, when I started working there, Jim Deck said, you want to work inside or outside? I'm like, I want to work outside. I don't want to be inside in the summer. I want to work outside. And again, the dirty little secret is, the shift that I worked, I pretty much just went out and practiced.
Right.
So, I didn't even really.
So, what was the job?
So, it was, I had my pick of it. What do you want to do? Do you want to marshal? Do you want to do carts? And I'm like, I want to do the carts. Now I'm hanging around waiting for carts to come in. I squirt them off. I either park them or I put them back out for play. And by the time 5:30, 6 o'clock, maybe 6:30 rolls around, most of the people that are playing are in it for the duration, and I can run over to the 4th and 5th hole and practice for 45 minutes. Nobody misses me, right? I come back in. There's 6 carts sitting there. I squirt them off, put them away, and I'm done.
You're good, yeah.
By
How
far.
old are you at this point?
38.
Jeez.
By far, the most. We had a lot of great times at the old radio station, and it was like WKRP, right?
Yes.
This was just like Caddyshack.
Okay.
Mount Pleasant was just like Caddyshack.
Okay.
Everybody was a character.
Yeah.
It was. If I wrote a book, it could be a bestseller.
Okay.
It was great.
Okay.
And this story.
You should pitch it to Feinstein.
This story would be in it. So it's a summer. It is a scorching, close your eyes. You've born and raised here. It is a scorching mid-July Baltimore summer day. Air's not moving, 97 degrees, 94% humidity, clouds rolling around looking like there's going to be a thunderstorm at any moment, and it is brutally hot. I pull in, my shift is 3 o'clock. I pull in at 2:50, and there are 15 golf carts waiting to be cleaned off.
Okay.
So whoever had the shift before me they were behind. There was so much golf being played back then. I mean, this was the Tiger boom. We were doing 300 people a day. It is scorching hot. I pull in. I'm not going to say his name, but there was a starter there who was a really, really nice guy, older guy, probably at that point, like mid-60s, good guy. And he was like the sergeant of the starter shed. He had everything in place, all the keys lined up. And when I pull in, he's on the microphone, on the loudspeaker. Hey, we need some carts. Need carts up here right now. We need carts. I pull in. I go walking up. He's on the loudspeaker. We need carts. Come on, we need carts. A couple people come out, pull some carts around. I check in. I walk out. I'm like, what's going on? He's like, this is the busiest day we've ever had. We're swamped. It's packed. I need carts. I said, okay, relax. I'll get you a couple carts.
Right.
Scored a couple carts off, drive them over there, clean them out, drive them up, put them down. He goes, we need more. I'm like, I got it. Relax. I finally get the whole 15 of them all cleaned up and pulled up. And I'm not going to get something to drink. And within 6 minutes, he's back on the thing again. We need carts. All of a sudden, on the walkie-talkie, the marshal says, we got a broken down cart out here on number 12.
Uh-oh. Was that also in your purview?
Somebody's got to come out and tow it in.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'll go out and tow it in. So I get the tow bar. I drive the cart out. There they are, broken down. I'm putting the tow bar. This is mechanical. I'm putting the tow bar on, and it's kind of hard to get this pin in. And I scratch it, and I get this huge scratch across my knuckles. One of those agonizing, almost like a strawberry you would get in soccer. I got this huge scratch all across my knuckles. My knuckles are bleeding, and now I am, like, pissed.
Okay.
It's 3:30. I got 5 hours of this left. My knuckles are bleeding. It's scorching hot, and I can hear this guy screaming, I need carts. I pull in. I pull the carts up. I walk by the starter shack. I have the keys, the cart key. I put the key in a bucket, and I said, you could take this $15 an hour job and stick it right up your ass. This is the last time you're going to see Drew after today. And I walk into the pro shop.
Okay. To go play?
No, I walk in, I clean up, I put Band-Aids on my knuckles, I come walking out, and he goes, hey, Drew, can I see you for a second? I said, yeah, what's going on? He goes, can I ask you something real quick? And he's kind of sheepish. Can I ask you something real quick? I said, yeah, what's up? He goes, you
make $15.
I overheard you say something. I know you were talking to yourself, but I overheard you say something. You make $15 an hour? I said, not anymore. Not after today. This is it. I said, get a picture. Get it. Let's go in and get a camera. Get a picture of Drew. This is the last time you're going to see Drew. I ain't working here anymore. This is a joke. My knuckles are bleeding. I got golf this weekend. Okay, no problem. I come in like 2 days later to play golf, and you used to sign in on this clipboard, and the clipboard was within view of where the pro's office was. So I go to grab the clipboard, and I hear Jim Deck go, is that Forrester? And I'm like, hey, what's up, bro? He goes, come in here a minute. I go walking in. He goes, close the door. I'm like, oh boy. He goes, I'll just make a name up.
Yeah.
Did you tell Glenn Clark you make $15 an hour? I said, what? He goes, did you tell Glenn Clark you make $15 an hour? I said, oh, hell. I said, I did. I was only joking around. He goes, I got the whole staff ready to quit.
Yep. How dare you? How dare you? How
He
dare you?
goes,
How dare you?
I got every guy that's worked here for 10 years
What the hell? I make 7.
ready to quit.
Yeah. No.
All of them.
What the
They're all
hell?
ready to quit.
Right.
So
better-
I had to go back out to the guy and say, like, hey, man,
Yeah.
I was only joking around.
I swear to
Oh,
God.
Lord.
You
We
should-
did that to Cunningham.
You should text Bruce today.
Oh, no
and
doubt.
say, I'm kind of getting sick. I don't know.
Well,
if
when
you-
they sent the
I
thing
would
out.
say, I would say something like this. I don't know if you've ever been asked to do Glenn's show.
Right.
I'm kind of getting sick of him. I don't think it's worth the $500
Right.
he pays.
Well,
me
when
every
Chuck
week.
sent the thing out the other day, I couldn't do any of the shifts. But when he sent the thing out for that Monday, I almost was going to send something back and say, I don't need the 600 that bad.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Because he's on the thread.
Yep.
I was going to say, Chuck, I don't need the 600 that
That
bad.
would be well worth it. I swear.
Oh,
Bruce.
poor Bruce.
God love you. God love you, Bruce. Hey, you know what? It's been a long time. Good morning, Jerry.
Yeah, right.
It's been a long
That's right. Hey,
time
Jer.
since we've done
What's
that.
going on?
All right,
All right,
Drew's
Ravens
here.
Steelers week. Let's get busy.
Is that this week?
28-21 Steelers.
Yeah, there you go. That's our guy. I heard you wrote about the
I did.
the
North Harvard High
Bedford
School.
thing.
I did.
God, what a time that was.
Oh, my gosh.
What a time. For those, we talked about it, I feel like, a few
Oh.
weeks ago. For those that don't remember, what the hell summer would this have
I,
been?
I think it was 09.
09?
I think.
That sounds
I remember you coming in.
I came home in 08.
Yeah, I think it was 09. It was either 09 or 10. But I remember you coming in, and you were like, you weren't embarrassed, but you were like almost ashamed to say. You're like, have you heard about
Yeah, someone
called you.
Someone called
and
in
you said
off
the air, and you came over and said, "Have you heard about this charity basketball game tonight in North Hartford at North Hartford High School?" And I'm like, "No, what charity basketball game?" And you're like, "Somebody just called in and said the Steelers are playing against the North Hartford High School faculty." I'm like, "Oh, that's that. There's no way that's."
By the way, you know who I'm pretty sure was a part of that game? Our friend.
Who? Charlie Batch.
I'm pretty sure he was on the team that came and played at North Hartford High School.
I thought Joey Porter was.
Okay.
I could be wrong on that. But I remember they brought a couple of legit players and then a bunch of scrubs.
Right, correct.
And
this is something that, like, I think we brought this up before. No young person would ever believe
people
this existed.
People today, well, and also, I mean, it really wasn't that long ago. It was 14 years ago. People today wouldn't realize. No disrespect to Griffin, he wouldn't understand.
Got his name right, so you're clearly
right. He wouldn't understand it. There was something about that period of time, and different than now. And we could talk about all the names, right? There's no more Suggs, no more Ray, no more Joey Porter, no more Roethlisberger.
I think the idea of a football of a.
They wouldn't do it anymore.
This is never going to happen again.
We stopped doing it with the Blast because Ralph Black broke his ankle.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Ralph, we used to play soccer volleyball.
Okay.
So we would go, it was an extraordinarily popular thing that we would do. We would take the Blast, go to your gym against your teachers and faculty, and we would play you. You could play regular volleyball. Mm-hmm. We would only use our feet and knees and head.
That's pretty great. That is pretty great.
And it was by far the biggest thing we would do, and you would have to buy, like, your school. If your school bought 500 tickets to a game, we'd come out and do this.
Wow.
It might have been 250, but we would set a ticket. We would say, if your school will do this, we'll come and play soccer volleyball against you. And we did that, and then Ralph Black broke his ankle, and we said we won't do that anymore.
I remember.
Can you imagine Lamar Jackson? Well, he wouldn't be a good example. Could you imagine Adafi Owe tonight going to Westminster High School, playing some basketball game, or even in the summer?
Yeah, because they didn't do it in
right.
season.
No.
Yeah, they didn't do it in season.
The problem is we did.
Oh, boy.
We were crazy.
God.
We were crazy because we wanted to sell tickets.
I get it.
But could you imagine in July, Adafi Owe going to play in this thing and tearing his Achilles?
This is exactly the scenario. My parents' church did one of these every summer, where they would bring in the Giants or the Redskins, because the Ravens never had.
Right.
And this is also before the Ravens existed. Like when I was 8-9 years old, and Dave Meggett would come play basketball. I think they would play it at like John Carroll against a basketball team from my parents' church, and it was the big fundraiser for the year for my parents' church. And then all the guys would sign autographs at halftime of this charity game, and it was great. And all of these teams had a basketball team. Right. Like, they had players that would go around.
But everybody also got it, meaning you
you're
don't,
not in there really.
We're not. It's not for the title.
This is the NBA
It's
All-Star.
sort of like the Harlem Globetrotters.
Correct.
Yeah,
that's exactly.
Just let the Giants win, sign some autographs, get out of there. But when you came in that day and said Steelers at North Hartford, I'm like, I don't know if that's true. You should research that. You came back in an hour later and you said, "Oh, it's on. It's tonight. Mm-hmm. It's happening." Mm-hmm. And then we got 4 days out of it.
We had the greatest
county executive.
And as Drew pointed out in what he wrote, we couldn't talk about the Orioles.
Yeah.
Drew, God bless him, would come in every morning.
See the game last night?
Wanting to talk about the baseball game.
Right.
Felix P.A. went 2 for 5 last night. He had a stolen base. I'd be like, nobody cares. No one is watching. Drew is still trying to break it down. I think in part to shove it up the Orioles' ass. I'm still convinced that was part of the reason why.
You guys wanted me to talk about you.
Yeah, like that. I swear to God, I think that part of it was you wanted to remind the Orioles, we actually talk about your team.
Right.
Unlike everybody else who doesn't give an S, including me, who at the time could not possibly give an S about what Ty Wigginton or Garrett Atkins or Derek Lee did in a baseball game the night before, or Nolan Reimold.
Some of those guys.
Reimold.
I know, but we did the bit.
No.
Who was the guy that called in that would say, Nolan Reimold?
Right.
Who was that guy? Do you remember who that was?
No.
He was a great player.
Yeah, he was. In that era, he was, which is the terrifying part.
Number 14 in your heart.
In that era, he was about as good as they had. That's the part that sucks.
When he was healthy.
Yeah, the 5 games, right? Exactly right, that he played. So we had nothing all summer. We had
this
nothing.
was glorious.
We were desperate.
This
for
was
content.
just served up.
If you could get a rumor about a crappy player the Ravens were considering signing, if you could get, when they were thinking about signing Kelly Washington, it was a day's worth of show for us. That's how bad the summers were.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's
we
true.
would start doing like ACC football previews in June because we had nothing. Nothing.
Yeah, this was just apple pie. We got 4 days out of it.
One day, we get a phone call that the Pittsburgh Steelers are coming to North Hartford High School to play a charity basketball game. Drew, all he's got to do is
not the Giants, not the Jets,
no,
not the Steelers.
Steelers,
oh my gosh,
and we didn't do another topic for 4 days. For 4 days, every phone call, 6 a.m. The phones were ringing.
How you guys feel about that?
Yeah.
How you
That's
guys
it.
feel?
For 4 hours. That wasn't the week that we were accused of not
and
preparing.
about every eighth caller would be you guys are beating this dead horse in the ground, or it's fine, or what are you guys upset about? They're trying to make, and then that would just generate 2 more hours. Because then I would go crazy and be like, they're bringing the Steelers in.
You can tell Chuck to kiss my ass. It was
every time we got a call where they would defend it, it just generated another day of. It just got us to lose it a little bit. They're bringing in the Steelers,
and we didn't have.
Oh man,
we had the news stations were calling over. Can we come over and film some? So we need some B-roll for the.
We called the county executive. He tried to defend them. I'm like,
and then we made. Remember,
principal called in.
We would not let the county executive hang up without saying, "You have to say that Hartford County is Ravens country." I said it was like he was on Meet the Press, right? And we were
except we actually asked real questions.
It was the thing, like we have to get you to answer the question: was the election stolen? Except it was, will you say that Hartford County is Ravens country? And so Drew, like the first time he brings it up, he's like, well, obviously we love the Ravens up here.
Nope. You got to say it.
Correct. I'm like, screaming,
you got to say it.
No, he's got to say the words.
We're taping it so we can run it back. 100%. Oh my gosh.
God, it was the greatest week.
And then we went up there for the night where Flacco threw his first ever touchdown pass, of course, to the great Dan Wilcox. And that's the night when you and I were sitting up in the upper deck looking at the end zone.
Yep.
And halftime rolled around, and we were winning, I think, maybe the Ravens were up 13-3 or 13-6.
Yeah, that was about right.
And we were, some of the guys on the bus were chirping. It was a Monday night. It was a beautiful night, too. It was like remember,
the fourth week of the season.
It might have even been earlier because
they had the hurricane game, but I'm pretty sure that was week 3.
The hurricane game, the trip to Houston got rained out. Right. I think you're right. They might have been 2-0 going for 3-0, or they were 3-0 going for 4-0. And we were chirping, and or the people on the bus were chirping, and this dude came up to us, and I never forget. You and I kind of both stood up. The guy's up there with his Palomalu shirt on, 6 beers later, mustard on his shirt, and he says, "Oh, I'm coming up here to kick somebody's ass." And we're like, "Dude, look, these people all work tomorrow. We're all getting on a bus. We're all going back home on a bus. Nobody wants to fight." And he said, "If you guys didn't come here to fight, you shouldn't have come."
That's exactly right.
And then we lost in overtime.
Correct.
And we had to do the walk of shame down the steps.
One of 3 losses to the Steelers.
Oh my gosh!
3 losses for the.
I remember saying to Gary Lambrecht during the week of that playoff game. Thanks, Darren Stone.
Yeah.
I remember saying to Gary Lambrecht, who
Frank Walker contributed.
Who I think was a closet Steelers fan.
Really?
I think so. But I remember we were standing around in the what I won't say office, but in the press room, where we all had little desks or whatever, and I remember saying the Ravens are going to win this game. You can't beat somebody 3 times in one season. And he's like, "Huh, what football do you watch? Of course you can beat somebody 3 times in one season. I don't know where you come up with that philosophy. The Steelers got a very good team." And he went into this long.
The first 2 games
and I'm like,
were determined by a combined 7 points.
Yeah, and I said, at that point, I'm like, I think you're a Steelers fan. You just outed yourself.
Well, speaking of our Ravens-Steelers memories, remember there was a Steelers fan who was a reporter for a little while. I think there's only one guy. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else in town that I've never like mended fences with. Even you remember we used to get on Molesky a lot, but even he and I are fine. Like we've had many conversations over the years.
There was
someone who wrote for the Baltimore Sun who was a Steelers fan, and we got after him, and it turned into a whole thing.
You write his name down on the piece of paper.
We could probably say it out loud. We had a whole. You don't remember this guy?
Oh my gosh!
You don't remember him?
Oh my gosh!
Remember what he said?
Oh my gosh!
You remember what set us off?
Do
you remember what set us off? This guy wrote for the Baltimore Sun. He was like the third guy on the beat, young guy. So he would have him write like blog posts. We crushed stuff him like that. And I had no problem with him. Like I think we never had him on, but I think he had interacted with us. We fought when DeLutis worked for Jerry. We were fighting with Jerry and DeLutis one day, and this guy was like, "This is entertaining. Like I'm enjoying this." I had no ill will towards this guy whatsoever.
You just mentioned that.
But he wrote in a column for the Baltimore Sun that Joe Flacco's performance was Bush League.
Right. Oh, right.
Bush League.
Right. Oh, yeah.
What he wrote.
You're exactly right.
Charitably, he just doesn't know what Bush League means.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, Bush League's the worst.
Charitably,
the worst you can be.
He thinks he was saying that Joe Flacco had a
day.
pedestrian performance.
An off day.
Or
right.
Like, charitably, he just genuinely doesn't know the definition of the word Bush League. Right. Like,
where's that dude now?
And I think he went to Minnesota.
Okay.
I think he was covering the Vikings for a little while.
That's where he belongs.
If I remember correctly. That's where. Well, I knew all along the guy was a Steelers fan. Like, it was a goofy bit that we kind of all agreed to not ever talk about because he was covering the Ravens, and you don't want to make that you don't ever want that to be a thing or try to pretend like someone isn't impartial in their coverage. But we were so taken aback by the Bush League thing.
Oh, yeah, we crushed him.
That we killed the guy, and then the guy started fighting with us.
Oh.
Yeah?
Oh.
No?
Nope.
Oh, what's he doing?
You know where he is?
I don't know where he is.
He is the beat reporter for the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Well, that's about right. That's about right.
Yep.
That makes sense. Yeah, this guy grew up a Steelers fan. Like, that tried and true. Like, he was a terrible towel waver.
Ex-NFL writer, coffee chugger, helicopter dad. It's a great day for hockey.
There you go. God love him. I'm not mad at him.
He's a Penguins insider.
But instead of just saying, yeah, I screwed that one up. Like, Bush League is the...
Right.
But again,
he doubled down.
You guys have to know what Bush League means to understand how disparaging that is. And there was plenty of room for him to just say, dude, all right, my bad. Yeah, all of us screw up constantly. One time, Drew Forrester said the F word when he was talking about a Kegas.
No, one of us did. You're right.
Still,
one of us did do that. You're yelling, dump that!
Mistakes
dump that!
Are made. Like, that happens in this business all the time.
Right.
And when we brought it up, he had every opportunity to be like, you know what, dude, you're right. I used the wrong word.
He doubled down.
I used the wrong word. I screwed up here. Right. My bad. You know, all good. But like everybody else, whenever we called them out, it was always the same thing. It was always double down, you know, this stand 10 toes down. And this guy's like, no, it was. He was Bush League. He only had to throw the ball 12 times. Right. They ran the ball really well. They didn't have to throw the ball a bunch. That's not a Bush League effort. That's just, you can say pedestrian.
Right.
You can say he didn't factor
mediocre
much into the outcome.
Right.
Whatever. And it wasn't even a bad performance. It was just like one of those games like the Patriots playoff game where he just didn't throw the ball much, where it was like 12 pass attempts for the game.
How about the time we left the two dudes there?
Well, that did happen as well. That also was a thing that occurred in Pittsburgh.
And they
They
called the boss and said, where are you guys? And the boss said, just getting into Irwin.
But we legitimately we did end up outing this. I think I did.
Yeah,
I felt bad. I was like, I think it's because the guy's a Steelers fan. And you were like, he's what? And I said, well, he grew up in Pittsburgh. He's a Steelers fan. And the guy was, and then like the people from the Sun were really pissed off. Like they're all, how dare they suggest that this person is anything but impartial. And so, all the writers from The Sun are mad at us now. Right. What a real shame that we couldn't get Jamison Hensley on this show.
Ed Lee looking at us with the stink eye.
I like Ed.
I do, too.
Ed's a friend.
I do, too. I like Ed.
He's a good guy. But, that's the way that it went. And they were all mad at us, and it was the whole thing. And then the guy wrote a column yeah, maybe I might have waved a towel when I was a kid or something like that. Trying to pretend he grew up in Pittsburgh but wasn't really a Steelers fan or something like that. Dude, the guy was a Steelers fan. It's all good. As long as you cover
we had some times up there, man. We get hot dogs thrown at us once too, coming off the bus.
We did that part. Remember the time we took the limo?
Oh,
what was
yeah.
the story on the limo? This is a...
Yeah,
I do
remember
how
that.
this happened.
I do remember that.
Drew,
Mark
it was
Chapman.
the AFC Championship game.
Mark
wasn't it?
Chapman took us up there.
Yeah. Drew says, "Hey, we're not taking the bus this time."
I got a limo.
I said, "Oh, is that where we fly? What the hell is the deal?" He said, "We're taking a limo." I said,
"Mark Chapman drove us up there."
What?
Not Mark David Chapman.
Yeah, right.
Not the guy. Not him.
Okay, not
Mark
him.
Chapman.
We rode to the AFC Championship game.
4 hours.
A 4-hour ride.
That made up for the 14-hour bus ride home from Indianapolis.
Oh yeah, that was pleasant. That was the
while the owner flew home.
Experience of my
while the owner flew home.
God. Yeah, we took a limo.
I said, "What's you want me to save you a seat on which bus you want me to save you a seat on?" He goes, I got a 9:30 flight.
It's too important. I got to get back. You guys can.
You guys can.
After the Ravens scored 6 points.
You guys can fly, right? You guys could, after Ed Reed lateral the ball to the wrong team.
You guys can
fly. I'll fly home. You guys can ride the bus home.
You guys be in charge of the bus ride back. You, me, and Barry.
Yeah.
That was the crew.
How about the one year we went to the Super Bowl, and we were all at the airport, and here comes Barry, his son, and Barry's got 4 bags with him. I said, "Barry, where are you going?" He's like, "With you guys." I'm like, "There's 7 of us here." How many rooms do we have?
Where are you guys?
And that's when our buddy Ray said, "We're not all staying in the same room."
Yeah.
If you'll stay in the same room, I'm not going to stay. I'm going to come home. And we got another room down the street. It was in Phoenix.
He did that for the New Orleans Super Bowl too, but only on the end of the week. At the end of the week, he's like, "Oh, by the way, I got a room for myself." And I said,
"Thank God for that."
You did what?
Yeah, right.
You did what now?
Yeah, that Indianapolis bus ride home. Holy cow! Stinky, drunk, hungover people.
We're happy to be there. Ravens Steelers on Sunday. I am not.
I think we're going to win.
That's the weird. I'm in this weird place where I
don't care what you say. Russell Wilson isn't beating us.
Wouldn't even be top 10 of the.
Not losing to Russell Wilson.
So here's the funny part.
Unless he gets his nails done.
I guess I should probably do a read. We haven't done. Griffin, tell everybody what's going on at Live Casino and Hotel.
$7 in free slot play for every home game. Every home game that a touchdown is scored for Baltimore or Washington this season at Live Casino. Live Rewards members get $7 in free slot play. You have to have your Live Rewards card inserted into the slot machine, any slot machine on the floor, and be actively playing. But once those touchdowns scored during home games, $7 in free slot play. Adderall Mills must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Let me pose it this way. Are you more excited about what this offense does or more concerned about how bad the defense is? Weigh those two things. Which one weighs more?
You mean for Sunday?
I mean, in general.
Just in general?
About the football team. In general about the football team.
I think the defense is really in trouble.
Right.
I mean,
but does that outweigh? You put the two things.
Yes.
Okay. Doesn't
it does? Okay. I don't see any way a team with the 32nd ranked pass defense is going to stand the test in January. I just don't see it. They got to figure out a way to get better. They're not winning the Super Bowl. They're not going to the Super Bowl with this sort of defensive performance week in and week out. They're just not. And Kansas, and the funniest part is Kansas City's defense was not really all that good 3 or 4 years ago. Their defense is actually pretty good.
Now that's the only way they're winning.
Right.
Their
defense is pretty good. Now the quarterback's still very good. They always figure out a way, right? Like they did the other day, which was weird. We're not beating them or Buffalo or insert other team here We're not beating these teams in January if this is the way we're going to play defensively. We're just not.
So
we got to get it fixed.
Generically, that sounds good. I did do a little research on this. It is far from unprecedented, and in fact, it's not even like uncommon for teams that have either a generically bottom third of the league defense overall, or one of the two, either a bad run defense or a particularly bad pass defense, right? Like, it is not – it really isn't uncommon whatsoever. Let me look over some of these teams. Since the turn of the century, so this doesn't even include the greatest show on turf, the 2001 Patriots won the Super Bowl with the 24th overall defense. The Buccaneers had a good one, and then the Patriots got good defensively. The 2006 Indianapolis Colts, the 21st overall defense, and the 32nd, the worst run defense in the NFL in an era, obviously, where you were running the ball a boatload more. The 2009 Saints with Drew Brees, the 25th overall team defense, the 26th ranked pass defense. The 2011 New York Giants, the 27th overall defense, the 29th ranked pass defense. It is, you brought up the Kansas City Chiefs, the 26th overall ranked run defense that year. The 2018 Patriots, I don't remember them having this bad of a defense, 21st overall, 22nd pass defense. The Rams in 2021 had the 22nd overall pass defense.
We'd be 40th if there were 40 teams. This defense is awful.
But part of that is
it's
because
awful.
teams simply don't run the ball against the Ravens. You have to acknowledge that's part of the story, is that like when you rank it based on yards given up, a lot of that is teams aren't trying to run the ball. Like for one of
fair enough.
reasons. One, because they fall behind.
But this defense is terrible.
I don't think
if this moron doesn't go for two the other night, and they get the ball first, but they're scoring.
The game was never going to overtime. There was 40 seconds left and 2 timeouts. The Ravens were winning that game.
They had 1 timeout.
No, they had 2. They used the second one to set up for the onside kick.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay, that's fine.
They were winning that game.
Well, that's why.
Out of 100.
Well, I don't know about that. I wouldn't go that far.
Okay, if Justin Tucker misses the field goal, then they might lose that game, or they might have to go to overtime. But there was.
But you can't go for
Bengals
you can't go for 2.
Stopping Lamar Jackson. No, you have to go for 2.
No,
because
not at all.
The moment that you give Lamar Jackson the ball back,
not at all. Just totally disagree with you. Totally disagree with you. He's getting the ball back either way.
The only thing I'll give,
either way, he's getting the ball back.
You know what? I'm gonna. You're not right.
I am right.
I will give you that there is. You're not right. You're never.
I am.
You're never. Almost never.
He's getting the ball back either way.
That's the point.
You've got to stop him.
There's a 50-50 proposition there, because no matter what, and actually,
you know what? If we score with 26 seconds to go, they might score.
Yes, they might score too quickly. There is the risk that 40 seconds is still too much.
Our defense is terrible. It's very concerning. I'm telling you, it's very concerning.
Is bad.
Yeah, I don't know about that. We're terrible.
Okay, who are the teams that have the good defenses? Besides Kansas City.
I don't even know. I don't even know. I honestly don't know.
But that's the point.
The Vikings.
The Vikings.
The Vikings have a very good.
Have any chance of winning the Super Bowl?
No.
Well, you don't.
Well, let me say this.
Don't do this.
They could.
They have no chance of winning the Super Bowl. 0.
Denver.
They scored 12 points against the Jacksonville Jaguars.
They won
on Sunday.
They covered. Oh no, they didn't either.
They didn't.
Rat finks.
Those jerks.
Rat finks.
They have no
the
chance
underhit.
of winning the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Like, this is my problem being, I get that the defense is bad. I just don't know that it matters.
It definitely matters. It's going to matter.
We believe it's supposed to
It's not
matter.
double elimination. You lose in January with one of
you lose. Anyway. They had a great defense last year. How'd that do for them?
They have the best / one of the best quarterbacks in football, with one of the best running backs in football, with a variety of guys to throw the football to, and they should win going away, other than the fact that the other team tries to. But they should win these games going away. And instead, they're in a shootout every game.
Right.
And there's going to be a game in January where we see it all the time, where the other team holds, air quotes, the Ravens to 28 points, and we're going to lose. Or 23 points. On any other Sunday, we should win 23-20. Instead, we're going to lose 33-23. And they got to fix the defense.
And that might be correct.
They have to fix the defense, and I don't know how.
I want.
If I knew how, I
want the
tell
defense
them.
to be better, but I can't join. There are too many examples of teams that didn't need their defense fixed and could just win the Super Bowl.
I don't know that anybody's defense was this bad.
It was. I just gave you the list.
Yeah, but you gave me rankings.
That's what this is.
I feel like we're giving up 700 yards a game.
Right, I understand that, but the analytics would actually tell you that they're not even close to this bad. The only thing that you can go back to is their defense to prove that they're this bad is because it's the way we feel. The only thing that backs that up is the number of yards they're giving up. Like, that's the only thing that
they're
actually
terrible.
proves it.
And you can look at the quarterbacks they've played as well. Like, they've played.
But those are the quarterbacks you have to beat to win a Super Bowl. You're not going to get the. They also, got ripped apart by Gardner Minshew and Jameis Winston. So let's not try to pretend like
Minshew's a nice quarterback.
Yeah. Where?
We need to get better defensively. We're in trouble.
When he's playing in Baltimore, he's a nice quarterback.
Yeah, they all are. They're all nice quarterbacks, and they're playing.
Why is this game at 1:00?
Because CBS has Buffalo, Kansas City.
Oh, that's right. I thought that was a Sunday night game.
Yeah. No, the Sunday night game is – those two games are in the afternoon, and the Sunday night game is Bengals-Chargers, which is fine. That's a fine game.
Yeah, it'll be fun. That'll be 50-48.
100%.
Where's that game?
The Chargers will probably get them to play.
Where is that game?
It's in L.A., I think.
Yeah.
Is it in L.A.? So that'll be 16-13.
Yeah, correct.
Right.
They'll probably get them to play their style of football. The Chargers are good at that. They should bring back – you know what they should do? They should bring back Greg Roman. In Baltimore, then you can get more low-scoring games the way that you like them. That's the way it could be. I think that this is what we're supposed to say. I just don't know that it's actually accurate.
Well, I'm telling you, the defense
is
terrible.
It actually matters.
I do think it matters.
If the offense is this good, I don't think it matters.
Okay.
Now, if they lose, if somebody goes down, completely different conversation, right? Like the defense requires the offense to be this good all season long. If they are, I would like for them to have a better defense because it would give them a greater margin for error on that day that you're talking about, but I don't know that it has to be.
As long as we finish either first or second, Buffalo's schedule's really hard. Buffalo's going to lose 5 or 6 games.
Who's still on Buffalo's schedule?
Buffalo's got a tough schedule. I looked at it the other day. Kansas City's going to lose 3 is the max.
How are they losing any game?
No.
Horseshoes are right up their ass.
Okay, but they're going to lose 3.
I don't know that
they'll lose to either the Chargers or the Raiders in Kansas City. They'll lose a game they shouldn't lose, like they almost did the other day. They might go to Pittsburgh at the end of the year and lose because whatever. They're going to lose 3 games at the most, which means the Ravens are in trouble for the first seed. As long as the Ravens
can't get the first seed's off the table.
Don't say that. I mean, Mahomes could get hurt this week and it's not off the table.
Short of Patrick Mahomes getting hurt, the first seed
but
is
as long
out
as
of
they
the
finish
equation.
second, that's fine. They'll finish second. They just got to get past Buffalo. And Buffalo's schedule's really hard. The Ravens have 3 hard games left.
Okay. They have
problematic games.
Wait. So I think they have more than that. You're just saying which games do you not think
This game's a challenge on Sunday.
I think both of the Steelers games.
They'll beat the Steelers here. Steelers aren't coming here and beating us. I don't care what you say.
This is what we're doing now.
Chargers away because Harbaugh will
100%.
Never sleep for 3 weeks getting ready for it. And I honestly think the game I do think the game at Houston could be an issue.
You're writing off the Eagles?
Yeah, we'll clobber them. Half the band's dead.
In fairness, they're an NFC team.
Yeah,
so
we're not losing to the Eagles in Baltimore.
It's not a Daniel Jones-led NFC team, so.
No, we're not.
Although there is a Daniel Jones NFC team on the.
We're not losing to those NFC teams
on the schedule.
But the Houston game could be. I
don't know.
We got to fight.
I think they might be a money laundering scheme.
We're going to fight there a little bit.
Maybe
with Houston.
We'll find out.
All right. So anyway.
Yeah, I am not. All right, we'll come back and we'll play Would You Rather Wednesday next.
34-30 Steelers.
There you go. That's our guy. That's our guy. You didn't even do the whole bit. You didn't even do the.
I don't have any energy for it.
It's a big rivalry game.
They need a win. This is a huge game for them.
It is a big, big game, right? Playoff implications.
Oh, you got to think if they win, they're pretty much in. Ravens 30, Steelers 37.
After the game is over,
and that's the first half.
Hang out with us for Project Game Day. PressBoxOnline.com/game day. Myself, Rita, KZ, Stecca, Femi Ayanbadejo, Super Bowl champion, all hanging out. PressBoxOnline.com/game day. Immediately following the game, it's brought to you by HelpMyGamblingProblem.org, at Easy Pass, and the Green Turtle Bet Park Sportsbooks. Would You Rather Wednesday is next. Scenarios are up on Facebook at Glenn Clark Radio. Putting them up on Twitter right now. And we'll talk about it when we come back in. Drew's here, Glenn Clark Radio. Brace yourselves for an unparalleled in-person betting experience at the Green Turtle Bet Park Sportsbook and Bars in Canton and Towson. Experience the thrill of live betting with Baltimore's only state-of-the-art Vegas viewing TV experience. Choose between our on-site tellers or the convenience of our self-bet kiosks to place your bets. Gather your betting buddies and head over to the Green Turtle Bet Park Sportsbooks today. Green Turtle Bet Park Sportsbooks in Towson and Canton. The ultimate destination for game day excitement, great food, and live in-person betting. Must be 21. Please play responsibly. Gambling problem? Go to mdgamblinghelp.org.
Hey Baltimore, it's number 10, Arthur Millette, and I'm hoping you'll slot us in all season long for the Arthur Millette Show. We'll be traveling around the region all season, giving you the chance to get to know me and my teammates. There will be some football talk and a lot more. You can watch this show live on Pressbox's Facebook and YouTube pages and listen every Friday night on 105.7 The Fan. Find out more at PressBoxOnline.com/Millette. The Arthur Millette Show, the only show in town that's a work of art.
The next Arthur Millette Show is Tuesday, November 19th at the Hamilton Sports Bar and Grill on Harford Road. It's brought to you by Easy Pass and HelpMyGamblingProblem.org.
Whether your focus is luxury and comfort, convenience and technologically advanced connectivity, or sporty performance and aggressive styling, we've got the perfect Highlander for you. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Highlanders from your local Toyota dealer today.
The ultimate fan experience awaits you at Sports and Social Maryland. See how we're raising the sports bar with our massive 100-foot media wall featuring 40 HD TVs and a 47-foot big screen. Bet on your favorite teams and this year's biggest events at the FanDuel Sportsbook while enjoying your favorite beers and cocktails, plus our delicious takes on bar food classics. Visit Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland at Arundel Mills. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The drug scene in Maryland is changing. Fentanyl and xylazine are being added to street drugs, and you may not even know it. Xylazine is not even intended for humans, and fentanyl is an opioid 50 times stronger than heroin and contributed to over 80% of overdose deaths in our state. Anyone who uses drugs, even occasionally, is at risk of overdose. To learn more, visit stopoverdose.maryland.gov or call or text 988.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Driving in Maryland? Did you know an Easy Pass from DriveEasyMD.com can save you time and money? Of course you did, because you are a thrifty driver. An antenna reads your Easy Pass transponder and automatically deducts the toll from your Easy Pass account. There, you just saved money with Easy Pass, all without slowing or receiving a notice in the mail. Well done, thrifty driver, well done. Get your Easy Pass at DriveEasyMD.com.
Contrary to what some people believe, I actually like this guy when he sleeps. Glenn Clark, talking sports.
All right, back in here on GCR. John Feinstein is going to join us coming up in about 17 minutes. What'd you do with the book, by the way? There it is. Right there. The Ancient Eight is his new book. We'll talk to him about that. We'll talk about all sorts of stuff with John. A little bit later on in the program, Daba Fofana, Navy fullback, will check in with us. They've got number 25 Tulane Saturday in Annapolis. And the great Shawne Merriman will check in with us a little bit later on. His annual coat drive is this Saturday down in College Park. So all that on the way. Hey, we got to get planning on Helping Up Mission, by the way.
Okay.
I already raised $150. What have you done?
$450.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What have you done? Now what?
Back
to you.
$150.
Back to you. $450 for me?
$150.
Okay.
And I've already started lining up some prizes for a raffle. So, you tell me what you're working on over there, Chief.
Okay.
But we'll work on that coming up soon. Anything you want to say about Drew'sMorningDish.com?
No, we're just spending all week talking about Steelers and the Ravens and going back down memory lane, back when the rivalry mattered and who we didn't like and who we did like. I did something today on here are the players I always secretly coveted that I really would have liked to have had for the Ravens.
I want to punch you in the face if there is any Steeler that you wanted to have on the Ravens.
Well, I would have taken Roethlisberger or Hines Ward in a heartbeat.
Yeah, have you heard about Roethlisberger? Are you aware of
Hall of Famer?
Yeah, I think there might be a little more to the story.
I would have taken any of those guys. But and I joked around about how bad Ike Taylor used to be and how we would always light Ike Taylor up.
That's true. You're right about that. All right, that's at drewsmorningdish.com. Would You Rather Wednesday is brought to you by Glory Days Grill. Someone's getting a $30 gift card to Glory Days Grill just for participating in Would You Rather Wednesday. All you got to do, go at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter, facebook.com/Glenn Clark Radio, and just respond. If you respond to all of them or just even one of those scenarios, you will be registered to win that $30 gift card. Number one, I'm almost certain that I know how Drew's going to answer it based on how the last conversation just went. A football genie offers you a guarantee that the Baltimore Ravens will not allow more than 26 points in any game until the season is over. Or
won't allow more than 26.
Or a guarantee that they won't score fewer than 34 the rest of the season. Which would you rather?
So they're going to score 35 or more.
34
or more in every game.
34 or more in every game. Or they will allow 26 or fewer in every game.
So in order for the Ravens to lose, they'd have to score only 25.
Yep.
They could lose 26-25.
26-24, yes. They could do that.
Right.
That's possible.
Okay.
And they could still lose 35-34.
Mm-hmm.
The Bengals know a thing or two.
Probably 3 times.
Yeah, the Bengals know a thing or two about that.
I would take the defense thing. I'd take that.
I'm not surprised based on what you told us.
Yeah,
I'm
I'd
not
take
surprised
the defense.
by that.
We're going to win if we don't allow. If we can hold them to 26, we're winning.
Just hold them to 26.
I don't know how we're going to do that either, but I'll that's the one I'll take. 34 is a lot of points.
It's a lot of points. That's the point. That's the reason why the question exists. It's a lot of points.
Yeah, who came up with it?
Okay, yeah, right. Believe it or not, there's a few people that have given me I think the offense can score that many points per game, so I'll take the defense. And I hear you, but they're not scoring 34 points per game.
Yeah, that's a lot of points.
They're not.
What are they scoring right now?
26?
Yeah.
Okay.
26, right?
I think
26.
Okay.
26.
Is that how you came up with the 26
26
number?
point something?
I don't know. It's because the league is so offensive now. Like, would 34 be enough every game?
Sorry,
Like
I'm way off. I guess I looked at after last week that went up to 31.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. If the defense can hold them to 26, I'll take that. I will take that.
We're winning every game. We're winning every game if we can hold them to 26. Problem is we can't
yeah.
ever hold them to 26.
Yeah.
Offense is predictive. Defense is not predictive. Give me the offense every time.
Yeah,
Give
I know.
Me the points.
How about what if you can you guarantee that Tucker will
make
a
kicks,
field goal?
right? Well,
Yeah.
I can guarantee you points however you get them. That's all I can guarantee you is the points no matter what. Number 2, the Orioles are going to make one real pitching move this offseason. And you can snicker about real when I present it to you. Either they're going to sign one free agent, and it's going to be for a 2-year deal, Justin Verlander. Or
he's 52 years old.
42.
He's older
Show
than
some
you.
respect.
Okay.
He is older than me. That's a fact. Or
is the guy that told them all how to spin the ball in Houston with the stuff on the ball, is he coming?
I can't make any promises,
is he coming
this is Mike Elias and Sig Meidel.
Teach him how to throw the spitball like he's taught the rest of them?
The other option would be they make the big trade for Garrett Crochet, and the big trade is Basayo, Kjerstad, and Jed Fabian.
You and I talked about Kjerstad last week. Like, I still don't know if we exactly have a spot for him. I do think you can tuck him out there in right field. You know, they tried him in left field, and he got to almost all the balls he should have. I don't care all that much about the catcher. I'm also one of those people of the mindset of you can't.
Well, a lot of people think he might be the number 1 prospect in baseball.
I know you can't, but you can't. A, you can't go off that. B, you can't fleece some of these other, even though it's the White Sox. Some of these other teams know what's going on. Also, you can't just go into every trade and say, "Well, we got to be able to fleece them." Verlander is just too. He's just way too at this stage, obviously he's a Hall of Famer, but at this stage in his career, he's too unreliable physically. Not, I think pitching-wise, he's fine. I would do the trade.
Okay.
I agree with you about Verlander. Like, I don't think I would trust him either at 42 and now 43 years old for a 2-year deal. But I'm not giving up Basayo, Kjerstad, and Fabian. Mostly because of Basayo, I think. But especially not for all three. So
He's
I will
a catcher.
I'll bite the bullet and just sign Justin Verlander.
Plus, the catcher you have is such a rock star. Like he's
going to be the best.
Yeah, right.
He should be.
I can't believe I'm going to agree with Drew, but I'm actually going to agree with Drew on this one. Get the guy. Don't get a guy. Get the guy. And this goes back to I don't want to try to dismiss Heston Kjerstad as being an afterthought in this because I still think Heston Kjerstad could be a real player, but Heston Kjerstad's in his mid-20s, and are you confident that he is definitely a high-level Major League Baseball player this season? And that's kind of where I am at this point. Like, I think he could be, but I don't know that. And without that knowledge, I can't get caught up on it. So to me, the question is, are you willing to part ways with Sam Basayo for Garrett Crochet? And to the point, you're right. That's a massive price to pay. But I think I am. Now, look, if there's something we don't know about Garrett Crochet, obviously he's dealt with injuries. This is where this always comes to. I don't think it's going to be the Orioles, is because I think the Orioles are going to go look back and say, well, he was hurt once, so we can't trade for him. Hey, he had an injury one time.
I'm not trying to poo-poo all of the minor league. I mean, we have one of the top. I think the Rays now might be ranked higher, but we have one of the best, which is all you need. You don't have to be one. If you got the top 5 or 6 farm systems in baseball, you're fine. We've got a plethora of these people coming in. I just don't see the opportunity to get someone of. And I know this kid Crochet's not. He's not the next coming to Clayton Kershaw, but he is. His early data on him is very, very favorable.
You don't need more guys. You need the guy. You don't have that right now. Zach Eflin was really good last season. And if Kyle Bradish comes back at some point this year, then it's possible he can look like that again. But you don't have a number one. And so, yeah, I'd go get the number one, whatever it costs in order to do it. And then would you rather number 3? There are two things that have been floating around this week that people have gotten a kick out of. The first is, would you for the next week, you've got to be one of these two people. Would you rather be the guy I'll start the other way. You've got to be the roommate of and personal assistant to the football coach at Syracuse. Are you familiar with the football coach at Syracuse, Drew? His name is Fran Brown.
Okay.
And he made a rather startling admission this past week.
Okay.
They lost a game. That happens, right? He's not okay with losing. Just not.
Okay.
They lost to Boston College, and he's not okay with it. And he informed everyone he's so not okay with it that there's just something in particular that he doesn't do when they lose.
I ain't even getting a shower till early this morning. I just be mad. I just brush my teeth. But it's like I don't deserve soap. I don't deserve to do all that. I'm just focused on like trying to get back and trying to make sure that our players mentally understand and know that I let them down, that they didn't do it. I just wake up all night.
I think we gotten the point.
Especially
you have to spend a week as a roommate of and personal assistant to Fran Brown, who doesn't shower after losses because he, quote, doesn't deserve soap, unquote.
That guy can play for me any day.
Yeah. But can he be your roommate? And can you be his personal assistant? The alternative.
What's personal assistant? What, I got to wipe his rear end? Like, what's that mean?
You're going to be around him constantly.
Okay, but I mean, you're acting like
I
got to touch him.
You don't have to be intimate partners.
I don't have to rub his back or anything, do I?
I don't know. I don't know what the role entails.
All right, jeez,
you've got to be around him.
You got me nervous now.
You've got to be around him at all times is the point that I'm trying to make.
That's the role for Katy Perry. That's a different story.
100%.
You want me to scratch your back, Katie? I'll do that.
Easy over there.
Sorry.
Easy over there. Now, on the flip side, Drew, have you seen the Wheel of Fortune thing?
I don't know if I have.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
Okay. Hang on. There was a guy that was on Wheel of Fortune. I just want you to see
what the board looks like.
Yeah, I want you to see what the board looks like so that you can understand more.
So I'm going to pick the...
All right. Now, this is A gentleman, hang on, had let's see. He guessed you, so I got to get it. I just want it to be filled out, and then I want you to see the board, and then he's gonna. This is what he had to work with, and he decided he was ready to solve the puzzle. All right, so you see what that is
up top?
That puzzle right there. Right there.
Yeah, I mean, I got it.
Yeah, I would think that most people would, right? Like, it's a phrase. The first word, we only have an E to work with. But after that, it's pretty sure it's yourself a round of applause, right?
Right.
Like, that's what we've got.
Right.
And so he was ready.
Okay.
And he was ready to, he wanted to get his money.
Give yourself a round of applause.
And here's what he's got.
I'd like to buy a U. Well, you're going to get 3 U's. I'd like to solve the puzzle. Okay, well, let's hear it. Treat yourself a round of sausage. No. I'm sorry, that's not it. Over to Katina.
What?
Sorry, that's not.
Okay.
Do it again.
Give yourself a round of applause. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to get 3 U's.
Good.
I'd like to solve the puzzle. Okay, well, let's hear it. Treat yourself a round of sausage. No. I'm sorry, that's not it. Over to Katina.
What year? I'll take a guess. But what year did he graduate from Loyola?
It's an older gentleman.
I'm kidding
actually.
there.
Let me see if
Roll
I can pull
Don.
up,
He's not that old. He's just bald.
yeah.
So is he the talk of the internet?
Yes, this is Will, was the gentleman that wanted to treat
Will
himself.
can't go home.
Wanted to treat himself to a round
So
of
what's
sausage.
the...
So would you rather
you
spend
blame
a
him?
week as...
Wants a round of sausage.
Yeah, look, who doesn't? Would you rather spend a week as Will or as the roommate of an assistant to the coach who doesn't shower?
This isn't even close.
Yeah.
I'm going to Syracuse. There is no way. You can't show your face.
Now, I hear you.
You can't.
But the internet is very forgiving. We've turned
the internet's really forgiving.
For a couple of days, it's bad. We've allowed a fraud. Anna Delvey was on Dancing with the Stars.
And danced pretty damn well that night.
She didn't. No, she didn't.
Yes, she did.
I don't know. I didn't watch. I'm not going to pretend like I'm aware of it. The internet.
The guy who owns Twitter is the president.
100%. He's running our country now.
Correct.
That's a fact.
That said,
That's a fact.
he made a bunch of cars.
He didn't actually make any cars.
It was his idea.
It wasn't actually his idea.
Well,
he's a great mechanic. Yeah.
He's not any of the. This is what makes everybody wants to talk
What,
about.
You don't like South Africans?
No.
Is that what your problem is?
Dave Matthews, a great deal. Big fan. Big fan of that.
Running the country.
Right.
Did you see
guy,
Bill Burr, by the way?
Hang on a second. I believe has been offered an endorsement deal from Johnsonville Sausages.
Has he really?
I believe he
I
has.
love that. See, that's what's great about this country.
Yeah, right?
And you know what? We're going to make it great again.
I've heard. So I've heard.
And look, when did that air?
When
was that? It's already happening. This dude has already been given an endorsement deal after the election.
But you're going to hang out with Stinky Pants.
100%. I am not going to be this guy.
You're going to spend your
Hey, how are you? Can I buy you a drink? Yeah, sure.
Right.
You look kind of familiar. What would you like to drink? What do you want, a martini? Yes, man.
You know what? Maybe he didn't get the endorsement deal with Johnson.
You're very, very pretty. Well, thank you. You do look very familiar, though. Hey, where have I seen you before? Yeah, you haven't you haven't seen me before.
I'm sure.
No, I've seen you somewhere.
I'm pretty sure.
I was that guy on Wheel 4. Oh yeah. I'm good, thanks.
Right, 100%. I think they're doing.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, I'm good.
I think I might.
No.
I think I might.
I'll go with the smelly guy. I'm good.
Hang on a second. This is the update from NBC News. He was offered. Come on, get to the point. God damn it. I'm sorry. I just want to get to the point. Johnsonville is treating customers to a round of sausage or one free Johnsonville product if they post kind acts they've done or observed in honor of this gentleman. So he's giving the entire country free sausage. So in a way, he's a hero. Let's kind of be honest about it.
He did it on purpose.
This is a wonderful. I don't think this is real packaging, but I want them to make it real packaging.
What about?
I really want them to do that.
What about if you're the marketing person for Johnsonville and you came up with this? It's a Johnson. No, it's a sausage. No, it's Johnsonville sausage.
There you go.
No,
that's what you got.
No,
that's what you.
Did you see Bill Burr on Saturday night?
Yep.
Did you see it? Did you see Bill Burr?
I did. Of course, I
this
saw
past
Bill
Saturday
Burr.
night.
Do you think I didn't watch?
Of
course I did.
How funny is it?
How
funny is it when he said, "Ladies,
yeah, you're 0-2.
You're 0-2 against this guy."
He was really uncomfortable. Like he didn't want to do the shtick. He didn't want to do.
You could tell he was kind of forced into it. He's like,
Yeah.
"All right,
Yeah,
I'll
right.
talk about what you guys all want me to talk about."
but he had no
Ladies, you're
interest.
0-2.
He had no interest in doing it.
They got me with the opening.
Oh,
they
100%.
got me.
You thought they were doing a somber,
100%.
like when they did the Hallelujah thing the first time. Yeah, that was good.
100%.
That was good.
I totally thought they were starting with. I thought they all got together. I honestly thought they all got together and said,
"This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna have a."
Well,
really,
no, they put a little pressure on them and said, "Hey, we're going to start the show with what we really feel heartfelt, and if you don't like that, we won't do the show.
Right,
no, we won't do. We won't do the show.
Okay.
So when they started off with, there was an election last week, and they allowed this guy to win. I thought it was real.
Right. No, it was a very good swerve. That was a very good cold open. It was a really,
pretty
really
funny.
good cold open.
It was pretty funny.
All right, Drew's here. One of our favorites over the years.
Me?
Who's been, no.
Oh, I
one
thought
of
you meant
our
I'm
collective hour.
Oh, I thought you meant I was one of your
over the years.
favorites.
Author of many, many, many books. The most recent is The Ancient Eight, college football's Ivy League and the game they play.
The way football's
today.
supposed to be played.
I am 5 chapters in so far. He is John Feinstein, and he is back with us here on GCR. John, it's Glenn and Drew. I am sure you're wondering to yourself how it is that 20 years later you're still chatting with us a-holes. Thank you for taking the time for us.
I'm wondering how anybody still chats with me, Glenn. But let me say for the record, Drew, you're one of my favorites.
Oh,
nobody else.
Record that, please.
Yeah, right. Now Drew finally has something to put on his book.
That's
his
correct.
Acknowledgments.
That's it.
He finally has.
It's going on the back of the book.
If that's all you got, Drew, you're in trouble.
I know.
Hey, John, before we talk about the book, if I could, our common friend Pete Medhurst, who I know you've worked with a lot over the years and is going through a really difficult time right now, can you kind of share with everybody what Pete means to you, what he means to college football, what he really means to college sports and this region on the whole?
Yeah, obviously when I heard the news last week about him having a brain tumor, it was shocking, and it's still shocking to know that he's struggling with this. And I first knew Pete as a basketball guy. He's a big basketball guy, as you guys know, and has been Navy's play-by-play guy on basketball for, 15, 20 years now, and took over the play-by-play when Bob Sosey left Navy to go to the New England Patriots. He's a great football guy, hoops guy. He's terrific on play-by-play. I think he and Joe Miller are really good on the Navy broadcast. And I don't just say that because I'm part of the Navy broadcast on a pregame. I say it because I believe it. And as I said to Scott Strassmeyer the other day, I'm not big on prayer, but I'll definitely pray for Pete.
He's the best. He is one of the most incredible humans I've ever had the pleasure to call a friend, and we are all pulling like hell for that guy.
Yes, we are.
Good.
So, John, with this book, just side story real quick. Every January or February, I take my Coward Hall golf team and their dads. We go on a one-day trip every year, and it's the same place every year. We go to the Palestra, and we see a Penn basketball game, and I take them up there specifically and say, I want you to watch everything from the minute they start warming up. I want you to watch the whole thing, and I want you to see how real basketball and how this kind of basketball is played. Is that what, not basketball, but is that what drew you to the book, the way these schools treat athletics still? Is that what drew you to this?
Yes, absolutely. And let me say, before I explain, that my wife has often said that if I ever disappeared, she would send the police to look for me in the Palestra. So she would assume that's where I went. It's throwback, especially nowadays with NILs and with the transfer portal and with the constant realignment of schools chasing money. The reason I called the book The Ancient Eight is because they will always be the Ancient Eight. There will be no expansion. There will be nobody leaving to join another conference. They will be these same 8 schools forever. And the kids who go to play there know they're going to have to take care of their academics. Is Jalen Ramsey, one of the great players last year at Princeton, said to me, when you go to an Ivy League school, you have 2 full-time jobs, and one is your academics and the other is football. Because believe me when I tell you, and you know this, guys, that these kids care every bit as much about football or basketball as the kids who play in the ACC or the Big 10, the Big 18, I guess, or the SEC. They're not as good, although usually the Ivy League has 12 to 15 players in the NFL every year. It's not like they don't have any NFL players. And every game I went to last year, there were NFL scouts there looking at players to draft or sign as free agents. But they know their life is more than football, that there's going to come a time when football ends or basketball ends, and they're going to go on and be doctors or lawyers. I hope not sports writers or Wall Street maidens, whatever. And it's a unique brand of kid, which is what you're describing. And I can honestly say I interviewed 82 players last year from the 8 schools. I didn't have a single bad interview, not one, because the kids not only were smart, but they understood what I was trying to do, and they went out of their way to tell me stories, anecdotes about themselves and about playing football and what football means to them. And it made the book a great pleasure to do.
The book is The Ancient Eight. It's available this week, and we've linked up to it on our Twitter account, @GlennClarkRadio, so you can go check it out. John, I mentioned I'm only 5 chapters in so far, but 2 things that jumped out at me. Usually whenever we talk to you about a book, there's some sort of local connection. Really struggle to find one other than you acknowledge that maybe some of your interest started related to Marty Domris.
I'm sorry, to who?
Marty Domris.
Oh, Marty Domris. I didn't hear it.
Yeah.
Yes, it absolutely did. I grew up in New York City, as you guys know, and I rode the subway, the number 1 train, up to 215th Street and walked 3 blocks to Baker Field, Columbia's home field, then as now. And Marty Domris was one of my first heroes. He was a great quarterback at Columbia. He was the 9th pick in the then NFL-AFL draft for the San Diego Chargers, and of course has the distinction, I guess you'd call it that, of being the first quarterback to replace Johnny Unitas for the Colts.
Yep.
When the Colts decided they wanted to go young, when Johnny Unitas was near the end of their career, it was Marty Domris who took his place at quarterback. And so, yes, that is definitely a local connection to Baltimore. And again, the Columbia teams that I saw play, Marty Domris in his career at Columbia was 9. How many? They played 9 games a year back then. So he was 9-27 in his college career. But he was still the 9th pick in the draft because he was that good.
And then the other thing that jumped out at me early on in the book is I had forgotten about how much that season was sort of surrounded by tragedy within the Ivy League.
It was. Yeah, it really was. I never expected that to be part of the story. In fact, I spoke to Buddy Tevens at length on the phone 2 weeks before he was struck by a truck crossing a highway in Florida on his bike, and he never recovered from the injuries. He'd been Dartmouth's coach twice. He played for Dartmouth in the 70s, was an all-Ivy quarterback, also played on a Frozen Four team in 1979 as a senior for Dartmouth, and then became the coach in the 80s, had great success, moved up to Tulane and Stanford where he didn't have great success, and then came back to his alma mater in 2005 and turned the program back around after it had struggled. And Buddy and Tim Murphy, who was Harvard's coach for 30 years, were best friends from the time they were 12 years old. And so you can imagine what last season was like. It was his last season, as it turned out, for Tim Murphy, after his close friend was injured so horribly in this accident. He went and visited him in the hospital the day after the accident happened in Florida. And it became a major part of the story was Dartmouth and how Sammy McCorkle, who had been an assistant to Buddy for 19 years, took over. And in the wake of this tragedy, they somehow tied for the Ivy League title with Yale and Harvard. It's an unbelievable story. I wrote in the book that it's a Disney movie story because it has genuine tragedy, but it's genuinely uplifting by the time you get to the end of the book or the movie.
John, I assume all the schools were welcoming for you to be involved. I know when you pitch a story to a conference or a team or a school or a person, sometimes there's an obstacle or two. I assume they wanted you to dive in. Does that make it easier for you to do this, knowing I got carte blanche and I can just kind of go in there and they want me there? Does that make it easier for you to get the story together?
It certainly does, and that's why I called each coach individually before I started the project to explain to them what I was doing, why I was doing it, and like you said, they were all, come on ahead, we'd love to have you. I had all access passes at every game. I was in the locker rooms, I was on the sideline. The players would come up and talk to me during games because I got to know them all quite well. Not all of them quite well, but a lot of them quite well. And it makes the project more fun when you feel welcome. Now, there's sometimes you got to write about things where you don't feel welcome. Whenever I wrote about Tiger Woods, I certainly didn't feel welcome. But there's no question that the 8 schools and the players and the coaches could not have been more helpful and more cooperative than they were. And I think that's reflected in the book because I hope you feel like you're inside as you're reading the book. And that people often say to me, what do you want to get out of a book? And what do you want people to get out of a book? And what I want readers to get out of this book is understanding that the Ivy League kids play very good football, but football's not their end all, except when they're playing the game. Then it feels like it's their end all because they're so passionate about it.
Again, the book is The Ancient Eight, and you can go get it right now, and we have linked up to it at our Twitter account. John Feinstein is with us. John, of course, this comes at a time where, like, you happen to write about a really particular topic this week that we also need to discuss with you, being here in Baltimore. As for the Washington Post, John wrote about Lamar this week. John, I'm in a weird place. Drew and I were kind of, debating this earlier about how concerned we are about the Ravens defense, and I'm really at this place where, like, I know it needs to be better, but at the same time, I think Lamar Jackson is going to win every game he plays because that's
if they score 48, we'll score 49.
Like, that's just where I am with Lamar Jackson right now, and I know that there's always danger of traipsing into hyperbole and recency bias, and he hasn't won a Super Bowl, and that's how we measure every quarterback other than Dan Marino, right? Like, but I just feel like we're watching something. Fouts. Yeah, okay, fair. Yeah, 100%. But we're watching something that is almost unprecedented, what this young man is continuing to do.
Well, I've been a supporter of Lamar and the Ravens' decision to draft him since they did it. And it says, when he used to say, he doesn't say it anymore, but when he used to say not bad for a running back, he was speaking to the 31 teams that passed on him and the 4 teams that drafted quarterbacks in front of him. And a couple of them have certainly turned out to be good. Baker Mayfield's very good.
Josh Allen obviously is very good.
Josh Allen's very good. But they're not Lamar.
Yep.
And, give Ozzie Newsome and Eric DeCosta and John Harbaugh and Steve Bisciotti credit for saying, we want this guy. There was still an anti-black feeling among scouts and general managers. And I think Lamar changed that. Because a year later, who was the first pick?
Kyler Murray. Was that
Kyler Murray, exactly. Yeah. Who's not only black but short.
Right.
And the first 2 picks in this year's draft were black quarterback. But before Lamar came along, you didn't do that. The only guy who'd been a number 1 pick, who was a black quarterback, was the kid in Oakland, who bombed out.
Yeah, Jamarcus
Russell. Yep.
Yeah.
Jamarcus Russell. Thank you. My memory's not what it used to be. But Lamar literally changed the NFL with his success and with stepping in right away after Joe Flacco got hurt and leading the team to the playoffs and then being the MVP the next year. And people will say, well, he hasn't won a Super Bowl. And that's true. But Dan Marino, didn't win one. Dan Fouts didn't win one. John Elway didn't win one until his 15th season. And Lamar's 27. He's less than halfway through his career. And he's about to win his 3rd MVP. And I agree with you that every time I watch him, I just sit there in awe because he's so damn good. I do worry about the defense because when you get to the playoffs, it's a lot harder to win games 49-48.
Right. John, and speaking of quarterbacks and new quarterbacks, what's going on in D.C., forgetting about, obviously they're better on the field. They're way better.
Right.
Talk a little bit, though, about, because you're down there and you're in it. Is the D.C. community in love again with the franchise? Because I know for a while there they weren't.
Well, with good reason.
Right, sure.
I was never a fan of the team. I grew up in New York, as you guys know, and I have the great misfortune to be a Jets fan and a Ravens fan because of the book.
Sure.
It's been 20 years since I wrote that book. Can you believe that?
Holy crap.
Yeah, holy crap is right. But I can now watch the games. I couldn't watch Washington football games because I disliked the owner so much, and of course I wasn't alone. And I literally would lay awake at night at times saying, what if I have to watch Dan Snyder being handed a Super Bowl trophy someday? How will I deal with that? And I wouldn't have dealt with it well. Now I don't have to worry about that. Now I can just watch the team. They're really just another team to me, although I am surrounded, as you note, by people who have fallen in love with the team, many of them in the media. You know, even when something goes wrong, there's always an excuse for why they lost last Sunday. They lost, but the standards are so much higher. No, they just lost to a good team, but they lost and they made mistakes that prevented them from winning. And they got a huge game tomorrow night against the Eagles, and we'll see what happens. But it is nice not to feel I hate to use the word hatred, he said, but Dan Snyder was hated in Washington, D.C., and look, he deserved it. He earned it.
If I could get one in before we let you go, John, about Maryland basketball, because when they hired Kevin Willard 2 years ago, everybody was telling me this is still a top 20 job in the country, and I found myself saying, is it? Is it, though? Like, we're really far removed from Maryland basketball being relevant, like being a program that matters. And you know, it was such a step back a year ago. I think Kevin Willard's a good coach, and we'll see how this season plays out. Too. But like, I don't know what Maryland basketball is, and if we ultimately end up looking back and saying Maryland wasn't like a great program, they just had an ungodly good head coach that was able to take something. And with obviously, because we should, lefty obviously as well, like that we're able to make something out of what otherwise is just, a so-so basketball program.
Yeah, I think leaving the ACC in terms of basketball and football was a mistake because the ACC, until John Swofford tried to make it a football conference, had an imprimatur of being the great basketball conference. And being in the Big Ten, you're another good team when you're good. There's nobody, you don't have a Duke or a Carolina rivalry. Michigan State's been great for a long time, but I don't think anybody feels about playing Michigan State the way they feel about playing Duke Carolina. Those were rivalries that went back forever. And I thought Mark Turgeon was a good coach. I was one of the guys who defended him, fewer and fewer as time went on. But your point is important because Maryland had two Hall of Fame coaches. In Lefty for 17 years, and then Gary for, 22? That you can get spoiled with 39 years of coaching like that. And I agree with you. I think Kevin Willard's a good coach. I think he did a hell of a job at Seton Hall. His dad was a hell of a coach, Ralph. And we'll find out more about this particular team when they play Marquette.
Yep.
In the first three games, were walkover games.
Yep.
But I agree with you that you have to wonder exactly where Maryland fits in when it doesn't have a Hall of Famer coaching them.
That's just where I'm at.
Hey, John, is there a golf? I'm not asking you to write another book. I know you just wrote one and you're probably tired of writing. Is there a golf story?
It's not going to – there's going to be another book within 6 months. What are you talking about?
He's already got it done. Is there a golf story you would like full access to that you could dive in?
I'm not getting it.
Other than that,
I'm not getting it. Here's I did my book on David Faraday right before The Ancient Age.
Right.
And God, was that fun because he's such an amazing guy. But I would like to write some kind of book. I don't know what kind of book, and he's still young, on Rory McIlroy.
Right. I kind of thought you'd say that.
Yeah, he's a special person. Forget his golf. He's uniquely thoughtful among golfers. He has empathy for people. I think I've told you guys the story that I was having dinner with my wife and my then 3-year-old daughter. She's now 14. I'm losing my mind. At Pinehurst in 2014, and we were in the
Deuce
pub area.
Yeah, the Deuce,
the Carolina Inn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And we were in the Carolina Inn, and Rory and his dad came in, and there were no tables, and you could imagine the maitre d' was freaking out. And Rory's dad, being his dad, said, "Look, when you have a table, just come out in the lobby and find us." And Rory walked over to say hello. And I had said for years, when my older daughter Bridget, who's now 27, was growing up, that I wanted her to marry Rory, and I wanted Rory to be my son-in-law. Mm-hmm. And Rory came over to the table, and he walked around the table and got down on one knee so he could be at eye level with Jane, who was 3, like I said. And he says, "So what'd you do today, Jane?" And Jane says, "Oh, my mommy and I went swimming, and then we went shopping, and I bought a new dress." Rory shot one over that day. So he says, "Well, I wish I'd gone with you." And Jane, of course, says, "You can go with us tomorrow."
Right.
And Rory says, "I might just do that." And so when he finally walks away, I said, "Well, maybe 20 years from now, Rory has his first marriage. Maybe Jane." And Chris says, "To hell with that. I'll marry him." And he's a really good guy. He's done some things that I haven't approved of in the last year, the U.S. Open thing. But who among us wants to be judged by our worst day? And I would love to, at some point, be able to do a book on Rory.
Well, the interesting thing about him that's different from Tiger, obviously you know this, is what it would be compelling is he has lost. He hasn't won in 10 years.
Right.
There is something about him that is very, very interesting because 10 years ago, when you saw him in 2014, he was going to be Tiger. He had already won 4 times. He was going to get to multiple, double-digit wins. And
double-digit. I'm not going to say Tiger.
No, but he would have been,
digits.
He would have definitely been in the 10 range, way more than Arnie, way more than Hogan. And then something happened. It's bizarre. That's what's interesting to me is the fact that he's still playing at a high level, but until he wins another one, this is hanging over him.
And he still has that Masters gorilla on his back.
Yeah, I would love to see him.
And I'd love to see him win the Masters and have the career Grand Slam because I know it bothers him. And that's the other thing about Rory. He'll be honest with you about something bothering him. He won't say, "Oh, no, it's no big deal." He won't do the Colin Montgomery, "I will have had a great career if I never win a major." He's not going to sit there and say, "Well, I won 4 majors. I'm going to be in the Hall of Fame, so I'm not worried." He's going to say, "No, it sucks that I haven't won another major."
Right.
The book is The Ancient Eight. It is available right now, and you can check it out at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter for the link. John Feinstein, it's always a pleasure. Thank you for taking the time for us. Look forward to the next one already.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me, as always.
Of course, sir. John Feinstein with us here on GCR.
I'll tell you what would be an interesting book now, be locally. That if someone really got in depth and wrote about the Turkey Bowl.
Yeah,
the Turkey Bowl is right. Here's the truth: dirty little secret. It's probably too big in terms of the kids. There's too much pressure heaped on these kids at both schools, right? But they signed up for it. A lot of these kids wanted to play at football Loyola and Calvert Hall just to play in the game because their grandfather played in the game and their dad played in the game. Yep. But it's become too big. But it is interesting. It is a we don't like when we play Loyola in golf. There is a Calvert Hall Loyola thing in all the sports.
Sure, but it's not,
nothing at all like this football game. Right. This football game it's insane how much of an impact it has on both schools.
I've got Loyola -4.5.
You're going to lose. I don't know. Neither team had a great year, and Spalding.
Yeah, just steamrolled the everyone.
Decimated everyone.
They're playing the A-Conference Championship game at Calvert Hall?
Yeah, Saturday.
Why?
They had just decided before the season started. I think they've done it now 2 years there. They just decided they wanted to be at a neutral site. Nothing more, nothing less. Because I think Curley is in the B-Conference final against someone.
Okay.
Peloti, I think.
And so then, so the challenge was, or the interesting potential issue. What if it were Calvert Hall and Loyola in the final?
Right. Well, this is they could have.
What would happen? I actually know what would happen, but I don't know if I should say.
They haven't said it publicly?
No.
They just make they should just make the Turkey Bowl the championship game. It would be the obvious answer.
Well, the problem is that the conference would say
they would want to make money on it.
Right.
Yep, 100%.
But I do know what.
Well, that's the Army-Navy issue. Because
Army
and Navy,
we've already had this discussion about Army-Navy.
Army-Navy could play in the AAC championship game on campus a week before the Army-Navy game.
Right.
And everybody would just say, well, why don't you just make the Army-Navy game the championship game? And they would say,
the conference would say, because we want to make $500,000 or whatever.
We have TV rights.
Right.
We have all the things that we've got to do.
Right.
Not an option for us. And the crazy part being the Army-Navy game doesn't count towards the playoff. So if, like, the winner of the AAC is in line to get the spot in the playoff, like, let's just say Army runs the table, beats Navy in the AAC championship game, turns around and loses the Navy in the Army-Navy game, it's like it didn't happen.
Is Army-Navy, but not in Baltimore anytime soon, is it?
No, it's in D.C. this year. It's in Landover.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in Landover
this
year.
Down there by College Park. All right.
You're the number one fan, dog. That's your team. All right, we got to talk to Daba Fofana. Are you sticking around or are you getting
Who?
Daba Fofana from Navy.
No, I got to go.
All right. Drew's
I'm still getting paid till noon because you didn't tell me about this.
I know.
Fill out my time card for me.
You got it. Drew'sMorningDish.com, at It's a Hooded 49 on Twitter. Anything you want to know about high school sports, go find it at countysports.zone. Everything about the playoffs, all the information, scores, schedules, brackets, the whole thing. Find it at countysports.zone. Proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. Speaking of Army-Navy, Navy fullback Daba Fofana joins us next. It's Glenn Clark Radio.
The ultimate fan experience awaits you at Sports and Social Maryland. See how we're raising the sports bar with our massive 100-foot media wall featuring 40 HD TVs and a 47-foot big screen. Bet on your favorite teams and this year's biggest events at the FanDuel Sportsbook while enjoying your favorite beers and cocktails, plus our delicious takes on bar food classics. Visit Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland at Arundel Mills. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Driving in Maryland? Did you know an Easy Pass from DriveEasyMD.com can save you time and money? Of course you did, because you are a thrifty driver. An antenna reads your Easy Pass transponder and automatically deducts the toll from your Easy Pass account. Learn more at DriveEasyMD.com.
PressBox's Project Game Day is the place to be after every game this season. Join Glenn Clark, Rita Hubbard, Super Bowl 35 champion Femi Ayanbadejo, and our cast of regulars as they break down what happened, why it mattered, and what it means moving forward. You can watch the show at PressBoxOnline.com/gameday or PressBox's Facebook and YouTube pages. Project Game Day is brought to you by the Green Turtle Sportsbook in Towson and Canton, Easy Pass, and HelpMyGamblingProblem.org. So join us for Project Game Day after every game day this football season at PressBoxOnline.com/game day.
Treat yourself and taste the Baltimore tradition that is the legendary Costas Inn. Hey, it's Stan the Fan Charles. For over 50 years, the Costas Inn has been a Baltimore original, dishing out their amazingly scrumptious, fat, award-winning crab cakes and steamed crabs. Every season is crab season at Costas, so make your plans now by calling 410-477-1975 and reserve your taste of heaven. Sit back, crack some crabs, and watch the Ravens chase down another title on Costas' 15 TVs. On Monday nights, Costas offers their half-pound jumbo lump crab cake with 2 sides for under $30, and there are nightly specials Monday through Friday. So head on down to the Costas Inn at 4100 North Point Boulevard or visit them at CostasInn.com.
The votes were all counted, and the results are official. Royal Farms was named #1 for food in the USA Today 10 Best poll, receiving more votes than any other convenience store chain in America. The next time you want to get some good food fast, doesn't it make sense to go to Royal Farms? Voted best in the USA and home of world-famous chicken. Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Brace yourselves for an unparalleled in-person betting experience at the Green Turtle Bet Park Sportsbook and Bars in Canton and Towson. Experience the thrill of live betting with Baltimore's only state-of-the-art Vegas viewing TV experience. Choose between our on-site tellers or the convenience of our self-bet kiosks to place your bets. Gather your betting buddies and head over to the Green Turtle Bet Park Sportsbooks today. Green Turtle Bet Park Sportsbooks in Towson and Canton. The ultimate destination for game day excitement, great food, and live in-person betting. Must be 21. Please play responsibly. Gambling problem? Go to mdgamblinghelp.org.
Coming back in here with Glenn and the other guy, Garrett, whatever his name is. You know who they are.
All right, we had to do this a little bit earlier on because of their schedule, getting ready for a big game Saturday. Navy fullback Daba Fofana here on GCR. Navy football getting ready for a huge game this Saturday as they host Tulane in Annapolis at noon. Joining us now, this man, my guy Pete Medhurst, who we're all thinking about. He calls him the money man. He is Daba Fofana, and he is with us this morning here on GCR. Daba, it's Glenn. It's great to chat with you as always. Thank you for taking the time for us this morning.
Of course, thank you for having me.
Dude, before we get into anything that's going on this season, there was something that I saw. You spoke to Pressbox for a 10 questions, and they asked you the question, is there an exercise you hate doing? And you gave the answer, not that I hate doing it, but the one that hurts the most is Bulgarian split squats. Now, understand, I'm a 41-year-old man that is not in my athletic prime. I do cardio, I lift a little bit, when I heard Bulgarian split squats, just that sentence sounded painful. Can you please be explaining to me what the hell that is?
So basically, you'll have your leg up on a bench or something like that, and it's pretty much like it'll be up behind you, and you'll be squatting with your front leg, whether it's with dumbbells, and sometimes I like to do it with a barbell just to load more weight up. But yeah. It targets the quad so much that it just burns like crazy.
Bro, I'm gonna continue to let you have those. I am not gonna be introducing that into my repertoire anytime soon. Hey man, great to chat with you. Obviously, great day for you. For this team and everything you guys went through, things not going your way against Notre Dame, and then just the craziness, right? Of that trip that followed up. How much did it mean to just get back to work, get back in the win column, and sort of wipe the taste out of your mouth of the previous 2 weeks with the performance you guys had against USF?
Oh, yeah, it meant a lot. I mean, we just needed to find our rhythm again, and we're a school that defines ourselves on, coming back from adversity, and those two games were definitely some adversity we had to face, but it meant a lot getting back into the rhythm, overcoming that adversity, and having some momentum going into this big game.
So, take me through, because I know everybody, at the beginning of the season, things were going so well, and then you have this sort of dip. Did you guys have to have a meeting, a come to Jesus moment, something like that? Or do you guys not need those types of things? It's a veteran enough group that nobody needs to say anything. We all know what's at stake.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that we needed a whole meeting and stuff like that to say what we needed to do. I mean, those two games we got away from ourselves, and all we just needed to do was get back to what we were doing before, mentally, physically, and just keep grinding and just pushing through that adversity. So it wasn't really a whole big we needed to completely change what we're doing. It's
right.
What we need. We need to get back to what we were doing before.
Dobby, you, of course, being one of the veterans on this team, right? How much of that did you sort of take upon yourself to say, okay, I've got to show the way. This is my role now. This is I'm the guy that's been through all of it. I've seen everything here. How much of that fell on you?
Oh, a decent amount falls on me, but it's not just me. It's all the seniors too, because we've all been through the ringer. We've all been through a lot of stuff together, and the younger guys, the freshmen, even the sophomores, they look up to us to be examples through this adversity, and they look up to us to be examples through even the adversity we face off the field. So it's I take a great deal of responsibility for it, but it's not just me. It's all the seniors too.
Daba Fofana is with us here on GCR. Navy getting ready to face number 25 Tulane this Saturday in Annapolis. Daba, obviously what's at stake, right? Like the opportunity to win the American, something that Navy has come close but has never done before. And, there's still the outside shot of a spot in the playoff. I know that you guys have lots of goals at Navy every year, and starting with beating Air Force, that was a very good thing. But what would it mean to you for you guys to put yourself in the position to win a conference championship for the first time?
It would be an absolute blessing because our senior group, we talked about leaving a legacy, and the past 3 years we haven't been winners, and that's just a matter of fact. But this season, being in a position to even get into a conference game playing against Tulane is an absolute blessing, and I know all of us are going to make the most of this moment, and just to do everything we can to control what we can control and get in there, and it'd just be an absolute blessing.
It's a huge game, obviously, but you guys are no strangers to big games, right? Like Memphis was a big game. All of the Academy games are clearly big games. The Notre Dame game's big game, even if it didn't go the right way this year. How much does that, like when you see something like this and everybody around the country talking about the importance of it, how comforting is it for you to know, well, we've been there before. Like we know what this is all about, playing in games like this.
Yeah, it's super comforting because we can look at the past and we can see, what we did right, what we did wrong, and apply it to future moments like this game or even the Army-Navy game coming up or the championship if we get there. It serves as a great repertoire of lessons that we can use to apply to the future.
Daba, I saw this week that Blake Horvath was named the Davy O'Brien Award semifinalist. Can you kind of describe what he has brought to this team since last season when he took over, the steadying force that he's been, and how deserving he is of all of this recognition that he's been getting this season?
Absolutely. I mean, I've seen him grow since plebe year, and I'm pretty sure he's talked about it where he wasn't anywhere near the player that he is today back then, and seeing him grind every single day to get better and become the player that he is absolutely awesome. And to the offense, he just brings like this calm state of mind and just an absolute knowledge of what we're supposed to do in every single situation. Like I've never seen this guy flustered at all. Like it's always been, if we're down, he'll be like, hey, we got this. We just got to, do what we do, and just keeping everybody level in the way that he operates the offense, and and even just the ability to get us out of sticky situations. Like I've seen him do some crazy things to, get the ball to, some playmakers on the outside and all that stuff. And it's insane. And he deserves this more than anyone on this team, really. I mean, he's faced, he's faced injury last year, worked through it, came from nothing to one of the best players on our team and in this league. And he's just, it's awesome to see him get the recognition that he deserves.
What is it that we need to know about Tulane for people that, again, only see the little number next to them and say, I don't know, because they're just not paying attention week in and week out? What would you tell us about what it is that makes them so good?
I mean, I could say it's just they're a great disciplined team with a lot of athletes, and they do their jobs really well. They play hard, and that's what makes them them. That's what separates them. But yeah, I mean, they're an awesome team to face, and they'll definitely test us for sure, and I'm looking forward to it.
And obviously, they're no strangers to big games either. They were in the championship game a year ago, right? And like some of those guys were on the team a couple years ago that played in the Cotton Bowl. Like they know a thing or two about big games too, right? So they're not going to blink in this moment either. All right, Daba, I gotta dive in with you a little bit more. Do I remember right that you are looking for, and I know service assignments are coming up, and you are you trying to get into the medical field, correct?
Yes, sir.
So tell me about that. Like, where did that come from? Why is that something that you have interest in your service moving forward?
Ever since I was young, I always wanted to be in the medical field because of just the way that the human body just interests me in terms of how uniquely designed it was, how every single process fits in with another process, and how God just perfectly designed our bodies. And I could see myself studying that in the future. And honestly, I didn't really want to go into military medicine until I got offered from the Naval Academy, because I wasn't really considering the military until that point. And But then I just looked at how rewarding it is that I could be serving my brothers and sisters who are out there fighting in those theaters and taking care of their families. And this could be people that I'm unbelievably close with, like even people on the football team, like that I'm shedding blood, sweat, and tears with every single day. And it's just that just be something I could see myself doing in the future.
You don't find yourself like helping out with the training staff during the course of the season at all, do you? Like, hey man, I want to learn a little bit more. I got it. You don't do any of that, do you?
I do ask some questions.
Okay.
But yeah, just to get some more knowledge.
Do you have any? This actually could come in handy when someone else is doing the Bulgarian split squats. That you're in position to be like, here's how to most appropriately recover from the pain that you're going through right now.
Exactly.
Do I remember that in addition to football, you're also a musician?
Yes, I play the cello.
So tell me about the background. Like, I feel like the path of cello, medicine, and being a fullback is not like the path. I don't think that's the most traditional path for everybody in the world.
Yeah, but by God's grace, he's allowed me to do it so far.
So where did that interest come from, and how do you continue? Like, do you get to play very often?
I mean, in the past few months, it's been really hard considering that we're in season. But I mean, in 5th grade, I decided to play the cello because I went to a private school and they were like, you had to pick between either band chorus or orchestra.
Okay.
And orchestra kind of spoke to me, and I chose the cello because it wasn't something I could easily break like a violin, but it wasn't too big to lug around like a bass. And yeah, and then just the chip on your shoulder that you get when you're like competing for like the first chair spot in an orchestra it kind of carried me through middle school and then high school, and then I just continued to love it. And it's another form of expressing myself outside of football.
That's cool, man. That's cool. Hey, by the way, this explains why it is that you're a leader, because already at 10 years old, you were thinking big picture about the appropriate instrument to perfectly carry around, whereas the rest of us were just like, whatever, man, the clarinet seems fun. I guess I'll do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
We were just on different wavelengths when we were at that point, man. Daba Fofana, just another minute or two with him as we're getting ready for Navy Tulane Saturday in Annapolis. Daba, I'm not trying to end it because obviously we're hoping there's a lot more games ahead for you guys, and we know there's going to be at least a bunch. But reflecting on what it has meant to you these 4 years in Annapolis, can you put into words what this experience has done for you as a human, how fulfilling it's been through, as you point out, all of the ups, the downs, the coaching changes, every trial and tribulation that you've experienced, what it's meant to you to be a Navy football player?
Man, that kind of is hard to put into words, but
I bring it up. I guess for people that don't know, this is almost certainly going to be the final game in Annapolis. I guess that you guys could still host the championship game. Maybe I shouldn't say that, but I feel like there's got to be an amount of reflection about the possibility of this.
Yeah, honestly, I never thought this day would come. I mean, thinking back as a freshman, like people say that your time at the academy flies by and you don't really know until it actually does, and I'm feeling that right now. And I can say that just looking back on everything that I've been through in the past 4 years, I can tell you that I've grown in so many different ways that it's even hard to describe. Like in my faith as a man, just being around, the team all these years and being around all those great guys. I mean, it's amazing, and God has done some amazing work in my life through this academy, putting me through the trials that I needed to in order to gain strength, gain patience, everything like that, and to even be in a position of captain where I didn't even see myself when I was a freshman, and it's been an absolute blessing just going through all of that. And I feel honored to even be in this position right now, and I just can't wait to ball out on Saturday for senior day.
I love that. I was going to say, like, being the captain of the Navy football team, does that, like, set you up? Like, is that – I feel like there's only, like, 2 steps between that and Senator Daba Fofana, right? Like, that's pretty much the way that it goes, doesn't it?
I mean, I can't say all that, but it's definitely an awesome role, and I love being in it with Colin too.
I love that, man, and obviously what a great dude he is as well. Daba Fofana, it's been a joy to watch you play, and obviously, as we said, we're hoping there's a lot more games and a lot of big celebrations on the way starting this Saturday against Tulane. You're not like much of a social media guy, right?
Not too much.
Okay. Is it worth telling anyone to follow you on either Twitter or Instagram?
I mean, I can go ahead and tell them.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Where can they follow you?
Yeah, they can follow me on Instagram. It's Daba it's Daba2Valid, like the number 2, and then Valid, just a name I came up with my senior year with a bunch of my friends. There you go. Kind of a stupid name, but that's where you can follow me.
But Daba, if we were all judged by our dumbest social media handle, I promise you that 19-year-old Glenn Clark would take the cake. I promise you that's the case. Daba, congratulations on everything, man. Go get him on Saturday. Thank you for spending the time with us this morning. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
That's Daba Fofana, Navy fullback, with us here on GCR. They get number 25 Tulane Saturday at noon in Annapolis. And Saturday is one of those rare days where you could do a college football doubleheader in this area, because you could do the Navy game and then head to College Park to check out Maryland and Rutgers at 6 o'clock. And whether you're doing both or just doing that one, you need to be gathering up your coats and winter gear to be taking them down to the game, because our next guest is holding his 22nd annual coat drive before the Maryland-Rutgers game on Saturday. Always a pleasure to welcome back to the program the great Shawne Merriman, who is with us now here on GCR. Shawne, it's Glenn. It's always great to catch up, brother. Thank you for taking the time for us, man.
Always, my man. Thanks for having me on.
Dude, I said it to you the other day, like 22 years, that concerns me, right? Because it makes me realize how old I am, because I've been around for all of these things. What does it mean to you, seriously, that you can look back and say, we've done this for 20 years. I have been able to impact my home area and give back like this, and the Maryland fans and family have supported me for over 2 decades. What does that mean to you when you reflect on it?
That means a lot, man. And, when I first started this, my first year, I thought we were going to get like maybe 100 coats, right? I didn't expect us to do as well as we are now. And the first time out, we got over 3,000. And so right then and there, I knew we had something. There was a great cause that people cared about. And also, too, 22 years, man, is such a long time. The fact, the people who used to come there back when I was playing, when I started this 22 years ago, when they show up now and they got their teenage kids, it really hits home, because now their kids get a chance to see this, and I see their kids walking up and they'll hand their son or their daughter their coat to come drop it in the bin. And I'm like, that's special. That's special to have that connection. And too, to show people care, man, to get a chance to come back home. That's the biggest thing, man, to come back home, to help some of these kids who can't help themselves, because I've been in that position before.
I understand. That's why this all started all those years ago. You don't have to deal with the awkwardness where somebody's like, Dad, who's Shawne Merriman? And, like, you have to think, like, oh, God, I'm old. Like, these guys they didn't even get to watch me. You don't have to deal with any of that, do you?
Oh, yeah, no, it definitely happens. It definitely happens. And what it'll do is a lot of them will show them, the YouTubes before they get there, and why they're coming. So they, for the most part, they know who I am because their parents have showed them on YouTube. But some of them say, you know what, I'll show you who he is. He had this cool sack dance. I'll show you on YouTube later on.
Yeah, and then they watch they watch the YouTube and they say, wait, you were allowed to hit like that in football? Holy crap.
they look at the YouTube and say, what is this? This football? What is this? We don't see hitting like this anymore. But I think, look, the coolest thing is it gets passed down to generations, and you can affect, because, again, that 13 or 14-year-old kid, when he's 17, 18, and I'm still doing this thing, he's going to be a regular, even if, his parents aren't able to make it anymore, or whatever the case is, they'll still be coming. So that part of it, man, means a whole lot to me.
Dude, I don't know if I've ever just said it like this. It would have been easy, as you found as much success as you did, to say, hey, this isn't the priority for me that it once was. I don't know, it was tough when you were in the NFL, like finding the right way to do it, and you were doing it at basketball games and trying to figure out a way that you could be back for it. It really is remarkable to me, as someone who's been away from the area for as long as you have, that you still care this deeply about this, to go out of your way every year. And that's not a question, that's just a statement. But I hope you know how much I know that it says about you as a human being, that you've never just said, we did 15 of these, I'm good. I don't need to keep coming. That you continue to say, I've got to be there. This has to be part of my year. That's a really big deal, dude.
I appreciate it. Now I'll tell you another reason why I keep doing this. So AJ Francis, who played there after,
I'll be there helping him next week. That's my guy.
Yep. So AJ Francis, I didn't know that I was a big reason why he started his canned food drive.
Yep.
And there were times, trust me, that traveling East Coast, having a 5-hour flight and getting back for TV or whatever I got to do on this side has been tough. But seeing things like that, it birthed an idea of someone else who's younger than me that's continuing on doing something in the community like him. And it started because he saw me doing it. And I'm like, I had no idea until he did his first one. And someone asked him why he started it. And I was like, man, that's why you do these things, because there's going to be a next generation of Shawne Merriman, next generation of AJ's Francis that come out. They're going to start something. So long after we're gone, we're going to birth, new people who care about the community.
And with that in mind, be ready for next Saturday, because next Saturday at the Iowa game, you got to bring the canned foods for that one. So the next 2 games, you better be on your P's and Q's. We need coats this week. We need canned food the following week at the Maryland game. So get on it and help these guys out that are doing incredible things. Shawne Merriman is with us here on GCR. Shawne, I'm sure you get it all the time, right? Like, boy, when you were playing, you guys are winning double-digit games and going to major bowl games, and life was good. Why can't it just be like that? Why can't Maryland sustain that? Can you maybe speak to how difficult it was and how unlikely it was what you guys were doing in the Ralph Friedgen era, and why it's not so easy for Maryland to have been able to sustain that high level of success, and what it takes for what Mike Locksley is trying to build now?
Well, first and foremost, I think everybody's excited when Mike Locksley came back because we saw a new energy. We saw, a breath of fresh air in the program. We all saw that. And I think nowadays it becomes extremely difficult, right? Because you got these NILs, guys can get paid to go to school. So, take someone like Ohio State or Michigan, they got 5-star recruits on the offensive line across the board. That second guy that's behind him may be a 5-star recruit or a 4-star recruit. And so when you have depth like that, these schools are going to be good for a very long time. So first and foremost, I want to say this, man. I believe we have some of the best talent in the DMV area in the country. I believe that if all the guys, all the kids stay home, if they stayed home, I truly believe that Maryland will win a national championship. It's just that, sometimes you got, these kids will leave and go to Ohio State. They'll leave and go to Alabama and these other schools. One part of the NIL part, the other part is, they may not want to stay home. And, I encourage guys, man, that was one of the best decisions I've made in my life, being able to stay home and play in front of your coaches and your friends and your family, everyone you grew up with, become that hometown kid, that hometown hero. It's important because that area, the DMV area is special, and it's unlike any place in the country. So I think that has a lot to do with it. But if those kids start staying home, then we'll beat the Ohio States, we'll beat Michigan, we'll beat anybody in the country.
Got to find more offensive alignment too, man. Like, that's the one thing about the Big Ten, bro. Like, they just build them different out there. I don't know how to explain it. Like, those corn-fed farm boys, they just make a difference up front, bro.
No, 100%. I mean, the games are won in the trenches, and that's why you see Maryland have break three quarters against Ohio State or Michigan, right? Because at the end, when it matters, they're going to start to put the game in the trenches, and that's what happened. And they've had Ohio State on their heels, right, for three and a half quarters or 3 quarters, and then ultimately, what it comes down to is winning the ball game in the trenches, and that's where they've been struggling.
There's no doubt that it's a huge difference. Shawne, we were joking the other day. You still got like 5 sacks in you if the Ravens were to try to sign you right now, because, man, I know your guy Chuck Smith's here, and like we could just use a little bit more in order to upgrade on this defense.
Yeah, man. Look, if Chuck gave me a call, I'd go give him 12 to 15 snaps a game, no problem. And it's weird to say this because they've been known for getting after the quarterback. That front seven for the Ravens has kind of been, I know Lamar Jackson is the star and all that other stuff, but that's been the nucleus, that physicalness of that defense, especially that front seven, they kind of set the tone, and they don't have that right now. And that's what happens when, your D coordinator leave and one of your star linebackers leave and Jadeveon Clowney leaves. And so
Denard Wilson, your boy, Denard Wilson too.
Denard down there. Look what he's doing in Tennessee, right? And so you gotta look at it like there was going to be a phase where they're trying to find their identity, and that's what they're struggling at right now, trying to find an identity, and also the talent, man. They don't have what they had before in the past. So if I was them, honestly, I'll make a big push into somebody on the street right now just to come in and get after the quarterback. So, you don't need him to play 40, 50 snaps a game, but you need to put him in those third and long situations to create some pressure.
They had actually a former Terp Shawne Merriman on the roster earlier this year to do just that, but they kind of had a roster squeeze and ended up losing him in the process, which was that's very frustrating. I pose it, though. I keep saying, as concerned as I am about the defense, I genuinely believe that what Lamar Jackson is doing right now is almost unprecedented. And because of that, every time they play a football game, I find myself saying, yeah, I think they're going to win because they have Lamar Jackson and the other team doesn't, right? Like, and I get that the Chiefs have Patrick Mahomes, and we'll deal with that if there's a rematch in the playoffs. But that's just where the place that I am. Is it possible that they could still do this and win a Super Bowl, even if the defense is kind of this middle of the road or even at times bad, just because Lamar Jackson really is that good?
You would think that, but you don't want to put it in Lamar Jackson's hands every single time because they're going to have to win at some point on the defense side of the football. They're going to have to learn how to stop their run. They're going to have to get after the quarterback and get off the field and change the downs. They're going to have to do that when it gets late in the season, definitely in the playoffs, right? Because, you may be able to get away with it now. Lamar's been spectacular. But the last thing you want to do is put it in his hands every single time where he has to go out and have the perfect game and do something immaculate in order for them to win. You never wanted to be in those situations. You should just be almost in a way thankful, right? You do got a guy there that if something happened, he can step in there and win the game for you. But you, as a defensive player, man, that should never be the mindset.
Right. And I agree with that. Like, I certainly don't want that to be the case, man. I really am at this place. I don't know if it's Lamar hubris or some sort of haze that's over me, but, like, I just, every time that dude touches the ball, I'm like, yeah, they're winning. Like, look at him. Like, he's just, what do you do as a defense? Imagine, Shawne Merriman, you got to go up against a defense with both Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry in the field. What the hell are you doing about that?
Look, first of all, you got to pick your poison, right? I mean, a lot of the RPO action stuff, any one of those guys take the ball, they can hurt you with their legs, period. But playing them, he's going to make his plays, right? My coach used to say, and I was coached by Greg Minuski, now who's the D coordinator out there. He would, and John Pagano, they would always tell me those guys get paid too, right? So somebody like Lamar Jackson is going to make his plays, and it's nothing. Patrick Mahomes, those guys are going to get their plays.
Yeah.
But what you hope to do is limit them to the point where they can't hurt you in critical situations.
Well, I mean, the teams have tried, right? Like, few of them have succeeded because that's how good they are. All right, so what else is going on in your world? Obviously, lights out, and we know you're doing so how's everything in the fight world? How's everything in the media world? What else is going on with you, my man?
It's great, man. We just actually, with Lights Out Sports TV, my new free ad-supported streaming platform, and make sure you guys download it. We're on every smart TV device. So if you got Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, any Vizio, LG TVs, iOS, Android, make sure you guys download Lights Out Sports TV. We just added today the Real Madrid channel, which was massive get for us. We got 300 plus sports movies and documentaries there. We got every sport you can think of, from wrestling and chess and poker and outdoor fishing, hunting, anything you think of, we have it there. So make sure you guys download Lights Out Sports TV.
Wait, speaking of wrestling, is there still a chance at some point? We saw you you mentioned AJ, like we saw you hop in. Is there any chance that there's anything else that might be coming there at all, or is that just like one time because your boy was out in Vegas and you're like, all right, I'll come hang out with him for a minute?
There's always a chance for me, man. I can sit here and say that I'm not, but it's when the opportunity presents itself, obviously I love the entertainment and wrestling business.
Yeah.
I have been around it now for about 15 years almost. I actually hosted a WrestleMania when it was in New Orleans for the WWE Network. So I've been around this thing. I love the business. So I can sit back and say, no, I'm done. But the truth is, if the right situation or moment come up and I know that we can put on a good show for people, then I'm always in.
Yo, if it's ever you and AJ in a tag team, I will fly wherever that is. I don't care if it's in Australia. I will be there. That's one of my best friends.
Look, I would not count that out. I would not count that out. Plus, Joe Hendry, I think, wants his revenge against me. So we'll see what happens.
Right. Say his name. He appears. That's the way that it goes. Saturday, 6 o'clock. Remind me what time you guys are going to start collecting.
Yep, I'll be out there an hour and a half before kickoff,
Okay.
and I'll be bouncing around to all three sections. Also, I want to give a huge shout-out, man, to DTLR. DTLR has come back in this year and did something really, really cool for us. They bringing a ton of coats, and they've been such a part of this thing. And they're a big part of the community out there in Baltimore and everything like that, too. But more importantly, man, they've been very crucial to our this coat drive for a long time. So big shout out to DTLR. But we'll be out there an hour and a half before kickoff, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys. So bring any coats you're not using. There's a ton of coats in your closet that you're not using that you will be able to help out somebody at this time of year right before it starts getting really cold.
I love that you continue to do this, man. Seriously, it's awesome, and I love that we can always count on having this conversation every year around this time. Shawne Merriman, appreciate you, man, and the person that you are. Thank you for taking the time for us. See you out there on Saturday, all right?
You got it, guys. Thank you.
Shawne Merriman with us here on GCR ahead of his annual coat drive on Saturday ahead of the Maryland football game. Yeah, need you to take care of him on Saturday, and then next Saturday when Maryland faces Iowa, you got to get back out there with your canned goods and non-perishable food for our buddy A.J. Francis and his annual food drive to support Sarah's House. We take care of the people that matter to us around here, so let's make sure we do that, and then I'll talk to you guys a little bit more about helping up Mission after that. All right, so we continue along here on a Would You Rather Wednesday edition of the show. Continue to get your responses for Would You Rather Wednesday in @Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter. Someone is winning a $30 gift card to Glory Days Grill just for participating. We're still going to get you a tidbit, tubular, and segment number 1 of the Arthur Millette Show with Tavius Robinson. The next Arthur Millette Show is next Tuesday night. Quick turnaround. We will be back at the Hamilton Sports Bar and Grill on Harford Road. Come join us for that show Tuesday night. You can find out more, PressBoxOnline.com/Millette. It's all brought to you by Easy Pass and HelpMyGamblingProblem.org. Next Tuesday night, the 19th, we will be at the Hamilton Sports Bar and Grill. We will see you for the next Arthur Millette Show. It's Glenn Clark Radio.
Treat yourself and taste the Baltimore tradition that is the legendary Costas Inn. Hey, it's Stan the Fan Charles. For over 50 years, the Costas Inn has been a Baltimore original, dishing out their amazingly scrumptious, fat, award-winning crab cakes and steamed crabs. Every season is crab season at Costas, so make your plans now by calling 410-477-1975 and reserve your taste of heaven. Sit back, crack some crabs, and watch the Ravens chase down another title on Costas' 15 TVs. On Monday nights, Costas offers their half-pound jumbo lump crab cake with 2 sides for under $30, and there are nightly specials Monday through Friday. So head on down to the Costas Inn at 4100 North Point Boulevard or visit them at costasinn.com.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
The drug scene in Maryland is changing. Fentanyl and xylazine are being added to street drugs, and you may not even know it. Xylazine is not even intended for humans, and fentanyl is an opioid 50 times stronger than heroin, and contributed to over 80% of overdose deaths in our state. Anyone who uses drugs, even occasionally, is at risk of overdose. To learn more, visit stopoverdose.maryland.gov or call or text 988.
The votes were all counted, and the results are official. Royal Farms was named #1 for food in the USA Today 10 Best poll, receiving more votes than any other convenience store chain in America. The next time you want to get some good food fast, doesn't it make sense to go to Royal Farms? Voted best in the USA and home of world-famous chicken. Real fresh, real fast, Royal Farms.
The latest edition of Press Box is available now. On the cover, Brooks Dubose profiles Maryland basketball forwards Derek Queen and Julian Reese as the Baltimore-built duo reunites in College Park with hopes of bringing the Terps back to prominence. Also inside, meet college basketball players from all of the area's D1 programs. Press Box is available for free at over 500 locations throughout the region, including 60 Royal Farm stores, where you can read the entire issue online at PressBoxOnline.com, where you can also find great betting advice and the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps.
Need a trophy or award that's as unique as the achievement? Look no further than Crown Trophy. With locations in Owings Mills and Gaithersburg, they specialize in custom trophies, plaques, and medals for any occasion. From sports and academic awards to employee recognition and corporate gifts, visit crowntrophy.com today and let them help you create a lasting memory for your school, team, or business. Crown Trophy is a proud supporter of the Maryland Public Secondary Schools Athletic Association. crowntrophy.com.
One of the things that's definitely wrong with this country is that this dude still has a job somehow, some way. Glenn Clark.
All right, back in here on GCR as we are winding down for a Would You Rather Wednesday edition of the program. What happened? Yeah, Towson, that was a bummer last night.
Yeah.
Really thought they had a chance. I genuinely did. Just did not work out that way as they never really got into it against South Carolina. Loyola went on the road, beat NJIT, so that was good. That was a good win for them on the road.
Navy unfortunately fell.
Yeah, at home against Ryder.
Patrick Stevens got me drinking the Navy Kool-Aid too, so I put
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did.
Uh-oh. That's not on him. That's on you. You made he did not tell you to do that.
Yeah, Patrick, he already sent a few messages.
Did you? Yeah, he did not tell you to do that. Morgan took care of business at home, but that was against a D3. I think it was against UDC. So that was what was going on last night. We'll tell you more about what's going on tonight in a second. Was there anything else that didn't cover? Do we have an update? Have the Ravens? Hang on a second.
What about practice?
Yeah,
or
they're not practicing until.
I don't think they.
I don't think they practice until 1:30 or so today. Yeah, so I think that's when we'll get an update about Kyle Hamilton in particular. Obviously, that will be the headline this week. Is he able to get back on the field this week against the Steelers? That would be very helpful. We did get confirmation yesterday that there will be no Alex Highsmith for the Steelers. The good news for them is that apparently it's only considered like a 2 to 3 week injury, which is very different than what it looked like on TV. It looked awful on TV. But apparently it's only supposed to be about 2 to 3 weeks, but they've gone ahead and said he's not playing on Sunday. So that's kind of the best of both worlds, right? Because nobody wants to face Alex Highsmith. He's a good football player. But you also don't want to root for somebody to have a serious injury either. So
yeah.
It's better, right? Yeah. Like you feel better about it. But no, look, I don't root for any injury for any player, but obviously, it's better for the Ravens. They don't have to face Alex Highsmith. However, the Steelers did fortify their depth, of course, by bringing in Preston Smith at the trade deadline.
And they still have T.J. Watt, so.
Yes. That's a horse of a different color. I did on my buddy Dave Damashek's show, the Sheck Show, this week. Dave, who, of course, was at NFL Network for years, and the NFL that everybody always liked. Before that was part of Adam Carolla's show, and he's now doing his own thing, the Sheck Show. And he had myself and Joe Goodberry, who's an internet Twitter darling, who's the Bengals guy that has the brain logo. That guy. Okay. You all know that guy on Twitter. And then Ben Axelrod kind of representing the Browns, and we did a AFC North round table yesterday. And among the questions,
they know you're not a Ravens fan?
Yeah, I'm not a Ravens fan. Among the questions that were asked for the entire crew was who's the best defensive player in the AFC North, which basically just came down to T.J. Watt or Myles Garrett. And the funny part was both the Bengals and the Browns guys said Myles Garrett. And then I said, yeah.
Is Kyle Hamilton definitive third?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Is he the definitive third? This year it'd be Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah, I guess.
This year it'd be Trey Hendrickson. But like he's of non-edge rushers. Like if you know who's the best defensive player that isn't an edge rusher, I think that might be definitive. I got to think about that a little bit more, right? Like, he's having a great year in Pittsburgh. I'm not trying to. Beanie Bishop is having a really good year in Pittsburgh. It's a name that
got some interceptions, but yeah.
But yeah, I think it is Kyle Hamilton if you took away the edge rushers. But yeah, both those guys said Myles Garrett, and I was third up. I'm like, are you kidding? Like, I get that. Like, if you just let analytics tell you who the better player was, it's probably Myles Garrett. But who's the guy that always makes an effing play to win? Who's the Mariano Rivera? Give me that guy every time. And maybe some of that is if Myles Garrett was in more close games, he would have more impactful plays that we would remember. But we always remember the plays that T.J. Watt makes, man. Like, Myles Garrett probably is the overall better football player of the two. But holy cow, if that guy just doesn't always seem to make the big play when needed. So, yeah, I defaulted to T.J. Watt during that part of the conversation. All right.
Colts bench Joe Flacco.
Oh, yeah, you're distraught. I did pick up Anthony Richardson in our stupid 2-quarterback league just because you never – like right now I've got I think it's Jaden Russell Wilson on my 2 quarterbacks. But you just never know. And I don't even know. I guess the Steelers already have had their bye. Have the Commanders had their bye yet?
No, they're 14.
Okay, so there you go. Got to protect myself a little bit. And
good thing you got Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, but you get to a place where your other option is Will Levis is perpetually available in that league, and that's about the list.
So I started looking ahead in that league. I was just or Josh Allen's on bye next week, so I was like, because I have Stafford and Caleb Williams.
Caleb Williams, you don't.
Yeah, he's been bad.
Yeah.
And so I also have to activate somebody for my IR or something. So I was thinking about like just rolling out, just dropping one of them, and I don't think I can. But I was like, if I did, and I was looking at next week, I was like, and looking at like the waiver wire, the highest projections, I was like, I could start a kicker in my Superflex, and I realized actually I can't start a kicker in my Superflex.
It's got to be a wide.
But I was like, honestly, I can, start a kicker in my Superflex here. I don't think that'd be
based on what
worst
the other
idea.
Yeah, this is a league where we have big rosters and 3 IR spots. I think.
Yeah, 3 IR spots, and I guess I'm lucky. I have no IR spots right now, so
I don't have any IR spots right now, unfortunately.
But
I like using all of my spots.
Me
on the
too. But
like to the point where sometimes I will pick up somebody that there's no way you'd ever, even when they're like Kendre Miller. Even earlier this year, I put Kendre Miller on my IR. Now, he's not coming back. I think he came back to practice and they decided he couldn't play. Kendre Miller was never going to be a player that you were going to play. But it's just to me about using the spots on the roster. I want to use the spots that I have. And so I will sometimes search through all the IR eligible guys. Like, are any of these guys coming back? Like, I'm telling you, guys that you would never.
Maybe Michael Badgley comes back. Guys.
Sure.
Maybe IR Michael Badgley.
IR a kicker. Why not? I would just like using the spots, man. That's what it is. All right, Stan the Fan this week is going to catch up with Vinny Serrato. Not sure exactly when you're going to be seeing that, but Stan and Vinny talking Ravens. That'll be available at facebook.com/PressBoxSports, youtube.com/PressBoxOnline, and PressBoxOnline.com/video. Stan Shows is always brought to you by the Costas Inn. Oh, and the NBA Cup, man. That got underway last night.
I guess it was pretty good.
Dude, the only game I watched was the end of the Warriors game.
Yeah. Well,
which was a real mistake because I had to wake up early this morning for 2 different reasons. But I was glued to the Warriors-Mavericks game in the fourth quarter. That was high-level stuff. Now, it had nothing to do with it being the NBA Cup. It had nothing to do with the floor. It was just because the Warriors and Mavericks played a great basketball game, and it was Klay Thompson, obviously.
You say it didn't have anything to do with the floor.
It had nothing to do with the floor.
There was all this extra buzz in the air. There were. I mean, so the Heat Pistons went to overtime. Hawks Celtics was a 1-point game. They had some basketball games.
How funny will it be when we find out that the league is giving these guys extra money? Make the games close so that we can pretend like this is a thing, please.
Will that be funny or will that be the downfall of the NBA?
I don't know. Whatever. Who cares? But yeah, Warriors Mavericks was great. I mean, that one was the one that mattered because it was Klay Thompson's return to Golden State. So they had, and then Klay was knocking down threes in Golden State, and the crowd was into it, and just awesome. And then they actually fell behind by 7, I want to say, with 4 minutes left. And then the Warriors rallied back to win 120 to 117. Great game. Really, really good basketball game. Which I almost never say about any NBA game
especially before
May.
April.
Before May. Almost never say that. All right. Tidbit is brought to you this week by the print issue of PressBox, which is available for free at your neighborhood Royal Farms, any of the hundreds of locations where you find PressBox. You can read it all online at PressBoxOnline.com. You see on the cover Juju Reese, Derek Queen, Baltimore-built duo, former St. Francis teammates reunited in College Park. Go get that right now, that print issue of PressBox.
Lamar won the AFC Offensive Player of the Week again. If anyone's surprised at this point,
I think the only surprise would be that they didn't try to give it to Jamar Chase. Really, just because.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Holy crap!
Man. Now I'm wondering.
And because they've been doing the bit where they were like, we've given it to the Ravens so much, we should try to find somebody else to give it to. Who was it that they gave it to last week? Or I was like, come on.
Was it?
Come on.
It wasn't Burrow. No, not last
It was somebody more comical. It was somebody that it was
like kind of a down week, wasn't it? It was because Lamar was only perfect against Denver. So
yeah. I mean, how dare they? Hang on a second. Hang on. I'll tell you who it was.
While you're looking it up.
Oh, it was Garrett Wilson because he made the one catch.
Oh yeah.
They gave him Player of the Week
because he had 90 yards.
Because he made one catch. Like, dude. And
I think they know that the Jets aren't going to win many games. They got to get in.
It was because they were just doing everything in their power to find somebody besides a Raven to give Player of the Week to.
And okay, so the last 15 years, this is about the Golden State game. Only twice over the last 15 years has an NBA player gone on a 10-0 run by themselves in the last 4 minutes of a game to turn a 2-possession deficit into a 2-possession lead. And that's exactly what Steph Curry did last night, going on a 10-0 run by himself. They were down by, I guess it was 7. They were down by more than 2 possessions, and then they ended up winning by 2 possessions.
No, they only won by 1 possession, but they had it.
Oh, they took. Okay,
they took a lead.
They took a 2-possession lead, and then they won by 3. Is that what?
Yes, they won by 3.
Any idea who the other?
But they did let Luka get a look at 3 at the end of the game. A look at a 3 at the end of the game. Instead of fouling and just saying, dude, you're not going to shoot a 3, they let Luka have a look. It wasn't a great look.
Foul of 3.
All right. I have no idea. Michael Jordan.
No.
LeBron James.
In the last 15 years, yes, LeBron James.
Okay, yeah.
April of 2012, LeBron James went on a 10-0 run by himself. But, yeah, quick NBA tidbit.
That first time he made the finals, when they played the Spurs and they got their asses kicked, there was one game in there, I'm pretty sure he went on like a 38-0 run by himself. It was one of the most incredible individual things we've ever seen.
His whole career.
Just didn't have anybody else on that team. That particular team did not have another player.
Silver Sluggers came out yesterday as well.
Anthony
Santander winning the Silver Slugger for the Orioles. Had plenty of interesting quick tidbits on the Silver Sluggers. Jackson Merrill became the 4th youngest Silver Slugger based on your age at the day of the last or the last day of the regular season. At 21 years.
You're not going to ask me, right? Because Lord knows.
3 guys
Ken Griffey Jr.
Not Ken Griffey Jr.
Bryce Harper.
Not Bryce Harper.
Mike Trout.
Mike Trout at 21 years and 57 days in 2012 won a Silver Slugger.
Manny Machado.
Not Manny.
Alex Rodriguez.
Alex Rodriguez in 96.
Ronald Acuna.
Not Ronald Acuna.
Fernando Tatis.
Fernando, first name right.
Fernando Tatis Sr.
No. He was a pitcher.
What? Oh, Fernando Valenzuela?
Fernando Valenzuela is the youngest Silver Slugger at 20 years old in 1981.
That's dumb. That's dumb. May rest in peace. Love you, Fernando.
Yes. Those are the 4 youngest. Let's see. Because I mean, it's not baseball season, so all right. We'll do. I don't know. I could do one each day this week because I feel like they're all pretty good. All right, we'll do this one for today. Players with 6 each Silver Sluggers and 6 Gold Gloves. One player with a Silver Slugger yesterday, or actually, I guess with a. He won a 7th Silver Slugger. So and he won a 6 Gold Gloves. So 6 Gold Gloves, 6 Silver Sluggers. There are 8 players.
And one of them is now.
Yes, because of this season, yeah.
So who's the most likely? You got to think about who all won Silver Sluggers. I'm trying to figure out who's the most likely, because you got to start with the Gold Glove side of things in order to try to figure that out. So who are the great defensive players? It's not Brooks Robinson. He didn't win 6 Silver Sluggers.
Not Brooks Robinson.
But how about Mike Schmidt?
Mike Schmidt, yes. 10 Gold Gloves, 6 Sluggers for Mike Schmidt.
I'll try Ken Griffey Jr.
Ken Griffey Jr. is on the list. 10 Gold Gloves for him. 7
many of these
Silver
guys are
Sluggers. There are 8. 1 active.
All right. Well, it's obviously not Ozzie Smith. I don't think Cal Ripken won 6 of either, actually.
I don't know. He's not on the list.
He's a really good defensive player, but I don't know that he won 6 gold. Did he win 6 Gold Gloves? Maybe. I don't think he did.
Let's see. How many did Cal win here?
I don't want to say he only had like 3 Silver Sluggers.
Only 2 Gold Gloves.
Yeah.
8 Silver Sluggers, though.
He won 8 Silver Sluggers? Okay.
4 straight seasons from 83 to 86.
All right. I guess that makes sense. Sorry, I apologize, Cal. I love you. You're the greatest human being that ever lived. Please accept my sincerest apologies for ever doubting you. All right, so I've got Schmidt and I've got Griffey. How about Barry Bonds?
Barry Bonds is on the list. 8 Gold Gloves for Barry Bonds.
How about Willie Mays?
112 Silver Sluggers. No Willie Mays. What was his deficiency?
How about? Because I'm trying to come up with outfielders. Like I'm trying to figure out. Although it's also possible that it's a first baseman that just won it.
You know what it is? It's because Silver Sluggers didn't come around until 1970.
Oh, I didn't know that. I did not know that.
They start Silver Sluggers.
Okay. No, that would explain a lot. Yeah. So now I gotta.
1980 is when.
1980.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's everything after 1980.
Everything after
Wow,
1980.
that does really limit. Roberto Alomar.
No, not Roberto Alomar.
Boy, Biggio?
Not Biggio.
Is there a second baseman on the list?
No. No, there is not.
Okay. Man. How about Pudge Rodriguez?
Pudge Rodriguez is on the list. 13 Gold Gloves for Pudge Rodriguez. And 7 Silver Sluggers.
Is there another catcher? Yachty?
No other catchers.
No other catchers. Okay. Oh, God. You might.
I
have to
lied.
help
There
me.
is a second baseman on the list.
There is a second baseman on the list. You might have to help me because we're going to end up going to 1 o'clock here. I'm only halfway through. That's not great. Okay, so there's one right now.
Yeah, there's
one right now. 6 and 6. Trout?
Not Trout.
Mookie?
Mookie Betts, yes.
Okay.
Mookie Betts, 6 and 7 Silver Sluggers for Mookie Betts. 6 Gold Gloves.
So everybody else is not active anymore.
Yeah, everyone
and there's
else.
a second baseman. I know that much. I bet it's not Chuck Knobloch. It's not Biggio. It's not Alomar. I don't think it's not Jeff Kent. He wasn't a very well. He could have been, but Brett Boone. Ryan Sandberg.
Ryan Sandberg is on the list. The second baseman. 9 Gold Gloves for Ryan Sandberg.
Did you not know that Ryan Sandberg was on the list, or did you not know he was the second baseman?
I did not know he was the second baseman.
There we go. Two more.
Jeff Kent never won a Gold Glove.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
Was a 4-time Silver Slugger.
He was a bat. That's what he was. But you just never know. Like second
Is that enough
base.
to keep him out of the Hall of Fame?
Yeah. There's 2 more. All right, help me on the 2.
Who are 2? They're both outfielders.
Both outfielders. It's not Tony Gwynn.
Yeah, we have a twin.
Torrey Hunter?
Not Torrey Hunter.
Kirby?
Yes, Kirby Puckett.
You don't think of Kirby Puckett as the defensive?
He won 6 and 6. He is the low bar for this list of 8. 6 and 6.
All right, and the other
he played before 1980, so he probably would have had a lot more Silver Sluggers because he only had 6 Silver Sluggers, and he was I guess he's known as a Yankee. Even though he played for 6 teams.
Oh, Dave Winfield.
Yes, Dave Winfield. Dave
also played for the Twins. Ironically, there you go.
You want to name the other teams?
Padres.
Yes.
Oh God, those are the 3. They're the big ones. Oh God. He was also a. Who the hell else did he play for? He also played for the. I don't want to say something and feel like an idiot.
I mean,
I have a couple of things that he was a Blue Jay, right? Okay, that one I was fairly confident
1 year in
in.
Toronto, 92.
The other 2 were the Angels?
Yes. Went from Padres, Yankees, Angels, or wait a minute, where was the... why didn't he play in 89? Padres, Yankees, Angels, Blue Jays, Twins. Who did he? His final season, 1995.
Oh God. Was it? I don't want this to ruin my perfect game. Was it Cleveland?
It was Cleveland.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God.
It was Cleveland.
Oh, hell yeah.
He did it. He did it.
I am the champion. All right, very good.
Dave Winfield.
Tidbit was also brought to you by Live Casino and Hotel.
$7 in free slot play. Got to get out to Live Casino and Hotel because every time that there is a touchdown scored in Baltimore or Washington home games, every time that Baltimore or Washington scores a touchdown during their home games, Live Rewards members get $7 in free slot play. You have to have your Live Rewards card inserted into the slot machine, any slot machine on the floor, and be actively playing in order to get your prize. But once Baltimore or Washington scores those touchdowns during home games, this season, $7 in free slot play. Adirondack Mills must be 21. Please play responsibly for help at mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Now this.
Have you ever thought of taking a cruise to these wonderful destinations with sunny skies and beautiful beaches? Well, wait no longer. We're ready for you to cruise from the Cruise Maryland Terminal.
Have a little phrase that you can go from baggage to margarita in about 15 minutes.
Choose fun with an array of destinations, onboard activities, entertainment, and world-class cuisine.
Contact your travel agent and book your cruise today. Let your adventure begin.
All right, here's what's coming up tonight, totally tubular-wise. UMBC Soccer still alive in the America East Tournament, and they take on Vermont on the road in the semifinals tonight. That's at 6 o'clock on ESPN+. Mount St. Mary's Hoops on the road at Bucknell, 7 o'clock on ESPN+. The Maryland women are at Syracuse, fresh off their big win over Duke on Sunday. We didn't really get to talk about that. Outstanding performance for a team with a lot of new parts coming together as quickly as they did. 7 o'clock tonight on TV. It's on ACC Network. If I think most people get ACC Network if you get cable. And that, of course, will also mean it's on ESPN, the Watch ESPN app. So, 7 o'clock tonight for Maryland and Syracuse women. Big Ten Network has Oakland, Illinois at 9, UT Arlington and USC at 11. The rest of the college hoops, find at GlennClarkRadio.com. Maction tonight, ESPN2, Eastern Michigan, Ohio at 7 o'clock. ESPNU, Kent State, Miami, Ohio at 7. CBS Sports Network, Akron, Northern Illinois at 7. NBA, Monumental 2, Wizards Spurs at 8 o'clock. ESPN, Pels Thunder at 7:30. But this isn't NBA Cup, right? So I don't have to root for the Thunder. I don't have to tell us. I don't have to care.
Hold on, let me see.
I'm pretty sure that they just like it's certain nights.
Yeah, no.
So I don't give an S.
No,
yeah,
these games don't matter.
In fact, I would say the Thunder should lose by 50 tonight. Get it out of your system.
I hate to spoil it for everyone, but the games tonight don't matter.
Yeah, they don't even count, right?
These games don't matter.
It's ridiculous. Grizzlies Lakers 10 o'clock on ESPN. Monumental for Maple Leafs Capitals at 7:30. TNT has Red Wings Penguins at 7:30. Kings Avalanche at 10, which is also on True TV. ATP Finals continue on Tennis Channel and TBS for AEW Dynamite at 8. Non-sports. Of course, none of it matters. You're going to be listening to Rita and Glenn from 6 to 9 tonight on 105.7 The Fan.
So hopefully you tape Survivor. Starts at 8 on CBS, of course. Ken Burns and Zoe Saldana will be on Stephen Colbert.
Yes, they're plugging Gladiator 2, correct?
I think you're right. She also, well, actually, I don't know. Oh, that's what it is. She's, I think, a Special Ops Lioness on Paramount is what Zoe Saldana's in.
Sure.
Also, the renderings for Avatar 3.
I enjoy Zoe Saldana, don't get me wrong.
The renderings for Avatar 3 also came out over the weekend, so maybe she'll talk about that. But Ken Burns has a Leonardo da Vinci doc coming out on Prime Video.
I'm just glad that we're doing new concepts and we're creating some new ideas and new films and not just always remaking everything.
Apparently,
I'm just glad that's what we're doing.
Jim Cameron he's written the script out to Avatar 9.
Oh, good.
So
that's what we. Although I got to tell you, I rode the Avatar ride at the Animal Kingdom down at Disney.
Yeah.
Yo, that thing is amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it is. Wait, not the River Navi. The other one.
No,
the
other
one.
I
forget what it's called.
I don't remember what it's called.
It is great.
It's the mixed reality one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yo.
Yeah.
That thing rules.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
There's the season 1 finale of Golden Bachelorette on ABC. So hopefully you tape that as well because that starts at 8 until after Abbott at 9:30 on ABC as well. And
they're doing the Abbott Always Sunny in Philadelphia crossover in January.
That's right.
Which is really, I'm really looking forward to that.
Be good. And then on Netflix we have.
By the way, I don't know how that's going to work because like the two concepts, like Abbott Elementary is so earnest, like it's so well intended and well meaning, and It's Always Sunny is not that.
So it's gonna be great.
Which that's actually why I'm really excited about it. because those two worlds intersecting doesn't come off as like cheap plug as much as like it's going to require real work to make this happen. I'm kind of excited about it.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll kill it. Hot Frosty on Netflix. Just another. This is another Christmas movie on Netflix. Gretchen from Mean Girls. Lacey.
Oh, Chabert.
Yeah, Chabert.
Yeah.
She magically brings a snowman to life. Oh, hell yeah. So her husband's dead, so she's a widow. She magically brings a snowman to life, and he helps. I don't know. His innocence heals her heart. I don't think it's going to be anything,
thought the sex scenes were a bit gratuitous, but, you know.
Craig Robinson and Joe Lotruglio will play cops in the I
like
town.
both of them.
I do like both of them.
I like
as well.
both of them a lot.
So I think that might be.
Joe Lotruglio in Superbad is one of the most criminally underappreciated things of the century. Dude, we'll go back to the house and party, man. I know girls. Man, come on. We're going to party. So great. So great. And Craig Robinson, his highlight, not The Office, knocked up when he's the bouncer at the club. I can't be having a bunch of old pregnant bitches running around up in here.
It's funny because they're both in Brooklyn Nine-Nine too. So
they are, of course, both in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Judy, right? Doug Judy. Yeah,
Doug Judy.
Love them both. All right, very good. Thanks today to a lot of people: Drew Forrester, Daba Fofana, John Feinstein, Shawne Merriman. We'll get all of that up in the greatest hits section of the
Here we go
tab at glennclarkradio.com. Sure it is.
Yeah.
Tomorrow on the program, we'll, of course, make our picks with KZ. Former Raven Marlon Brown's going to check in with us. He was back in town for the game last Thursday. I feel really bad. He actually hit me up on Facebook, and I didn't notice it, and I feel terrible. Great guy, of course, famous for the snow game against Minnesota years ago. Love that guy. Great dude. See what he thought of the game, stuff and things.
Yeah, stuff and things.
Okay. Thanks to everybody at PressBox, all of our great sponsors and partners, including Live Casino and Hotel, Cruise Maryland, Crown Trophy, Easy Pass, Royal Farms, Green Turtle, Bet Parks, Sportsbooks in Towson and Canton, HelpMyGamblingProblem.org, Costa Inn, MSAA, the Baltimore Orioles, your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Glenn Clark Radio. Have a great Wednesday evening. Go Maryland women. Go UMBC soccer. Duke sucks. Hey, how'd they enjoy that last night? Huh? Not that I love Kentucky, but I just enjoyed Duke losing. We wrap up today's show with segment number 1 from last night at Mother's North Grill in Timonium, the Arthur Millette Show with Tavius Robinson. And welcome to the Arthur Millette Show, Pressbox 105.7 The Fan. We are at Mother's North Grill in Timonium. I am Glenn. She is Rita. The host of the Arthur Millette Show is, of course, none other than Mr. Arthur Millette. If you'd make some noise for him, please. It's good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you guys. It's been a while, right?
It's been way too long.
What has been? 2.5 weeks, almost 3?
You hadn't played a football game the last time we got together for a show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, right?
That's crazy. That's almost 4 weeks, right?
Yeah, not okay.
Almost a month, man. I miss you guys. Thank y'all for coming out.
I miss you, too. I miss you, too. We good. We got a lot to do tonight. I want to thank a few people for making the night show possible, including Easy Pass. Make your trip to the game easy by saving the Easy Pass way for tolls. Go to driveeasymd.com. That's driveeasymd.com. Rita, did we hear you? Is that what you're worried about?
At first.
You're there.
You good,
You're
Rita?
good.
I'm good now.
You good?
I'm good.
Mic check, mic check.
Right.
All right, good.
There was a lot of people making a lot of motions, and it was really making me nervous. I don't like whenever that happens.
Sorry, Glenn.
So I had to deal with it. Arthur, we had a special guest come join us tonight.
I know. He surprised me.
Right?
I appreciate you, my brother. I know you got a busy schedule, man.
You want to introduce us to this man?
Oh, man. This is T-Rob right here, man. The Swiss Army knife, the sack machine, the special team guru, the hard worker, the guy himself, T-Rob.
Tavius Robinson, what's going on, brother? Yeah, we can make some noise for Tavius Robinson.
Come on, man. He has a bright future.
And he has such
He's gonna have a bright future.
He's such a great energy. Glenn and I both said that when he came in, he was just smiling.
Yep.
And I'm like, wow, like that.
You would never think, right?
No.
You got that army paint on and the helmet. You would never think he's a nice guy like that.
But thank you for giving us some great energy into the building.
100%.
Yeah, Rita and I were talking about how we struggle after daylight savings time.
Yeah.
Like, we are not the same people after
Really?
daylight.
I feel like I'm energized.
What?
Really? You?
I would like to go to bed.
For real?
I would like to go to bed.
Wow.
We are opposite
Maybe
people.
I'm the opposite. Wow.
The first day you walk outside and it's dark at 5 o'clock, we're just like, oh, good. I'm glad to be out here. Glad to be doing this.
So you're telling me I'm a gloomy person right now?
See, this is the funny thing that we haven't figured out about you, because like you portray that like you're a mean guy.
Oh my!
But we know that's not true because we've been around you
depends
for
on
long
the circumstances, bro.
So what are the circumstances?
It's just like treat people how you want to be treated. And if
that's-
I'm not getting treated that way, then the angry man comes out. Like, it is what it is. Like, you know, I have a good reason for it most of the time. You know, it's not that I just go out of the blue and just act crazy. You know.
I hear you. I know you're a nice guy.
Yeah,
because
I'm
we've been
very
around
nice,
long
bro.
enough, but we still portray you as mean.
Yeah, no.
Speaking of nice, how nice has it been for you to be back out on the football
Oh, it's been
field
good,
these last
man.
few
It's
weeks?
been good to go to war with my guys. Have some fun out there, cut it loose. Just play ball. It's a blessing to be on the field and be injury free. So it's a blessing.
I know that when we say things like 100%, that's like nonsense. Like
Yeah.
there is no such thing as one. You play football for a living.
Exactly.
Like imagine there being a 100%. But like, did it take a game or two to like feel? I know the first game it was kind of like a pitch count, right? Yeah. Did you get to a place where you like? There was a day where you said, "Yeah, I'm good." Like
I'm getting there.
Okay.
I'm getting there. It's a slow progress, man. They got what 6-7 games on me because it's like week 10.
Right.
So like they're
Tavius
strides
is like,
ahead of me.
And all of training camp that you missed, and all
literally.
right.
And I'm like over here gasping for air and chest hurting, and they're like, "Arthur, come on, let's go." And I'm, it's kind of different, man. So I'm trying to catch up to those guys. It's good motivation though, for sure.
Yeah. So you guys had a big win on Thursday.
Woo.
Obviously, you had the opportunity to just chill on Sunday like the rest of us, thankfully. But the aesthetics of it looked phenomenal on TV. Like just how it was like purple lit, and I was just curious to know like how you guys do you guys really get into like the primetime games because of all the theatrics that comes along with it? Like, does it fire you up a little bit more than normal?
I feel like we definitely feed off that energy, and like the bank was rocking on Thursday for sure. So
you were definitely loud, especially that BS call.
But no, we really have the best fans in the league for sure.
No, we
so,
do.
yeah.
We do.
What about the helmets?
Oh,
what
bro,
about?
I'm not gonna lie. Like the purple uniforms, bro.
You're down. You want to keep those.
Honestly, like.
Glenn is not a fan.
Okay, listen to me.
Oh, come on.
No, wait.
Glenn.
It's very specific. She's throwing me under the bus. It's very specific.
All right, I'm listening.
The logo isn't big enough on the helmet.
Now
I
that
get that
I
a little
agree.
bit.
I agree
It could
with
be
that.
a little
That's
bit.
my issue.
Okay, I
That's
can
my
agree with
issue.
that.
I agree
I
with
can
that.
agree with that.
I think the purple looks
Yeah,
incredible.
like the
I
all
think it
purple,
looks
bro.
Yeah,
like,
we need that. We need that.
I feel like a little Power Ranger out there.
Yo.
I feel good, man.
Just the logo. Like I looked at the helmet. I'm like, fill the helmet up. That's it.
I agree with you.
I put the all purple on, man. I was like, yo, this is fire.
Okay, rank all purple, all black.
I got blacks. I go blacks first.
Yeah.
Black is just a totally different mode. Like it's just got that all black.
So Suggs
on.
always said he legitimately thought he was faster wearing the all black. Is that crazy?
I wouldn't say that I feel faster by uniform, but I would say I feel like I got a little extra, badass to me when I got the black on.
Okay, I can dig that.
Yeah,
I can dig that.
a little bit
man.
extra
I can
badass
dig
to
that.
me.
All right, so we'll leave. Tavius doesn't have to. Well, Tavius is part of the pass defense too,
Yeah,
right?
heck
Like
yeah.
he's a big part of the pass
Absolutely.
defense.
Definitely part of
Yes.
it.
So
Go get the quarterback, my
That's
brother.
right.
and he's done a very nice job of going and
he
getting
has.
quarterbacks.
What's your sack total this year?
I'm at 3.5.
All right.
Multi-sack
now.
game just a couple weeks ago.
Come on now.
So after the game, it didn't seem like you guys were as celebratory after the game as you would think after you just swept the Bengals and won a big game.
I mean, we only won by.
Okay, all right. Now, with that said, that's the NFL. Like most games are close. Most games come down to one play, come down to one stop, things like that. Why was it so?
I think we have a bigger goal in mind, and for us to reach that goal, like we cannot be accessible to that last ending. You feel what I'm saying? So, we had a big meeting today, like where we just trying to figure out what can we do, everyone, just the whole total defense as a whole, to be better, and play Ravens defense. Because, when we're up 7, and historically when the Ravens are up 7 and it's the last drive, then the defense is on the field, no one's worried. And I think that's what we're trying to get to. We were there last year, and we're close. We're not far off, but, we want to get to where it's like, when we kick that ball off and the offense has it, the offense is not worried about going and trying to go score again or going help us or going save the game, or we want to finish the game on our end.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. What you think, T-Rob?
Yeah, I think it's just, obviously we weren't happy with the way it ended. So, it's back to work, and it's the fact that we know what we can be, and we got all the guys to be what we can be. So it's just, the fact that we're not satisfied, and but we're going to keep working and get to where we know we can be.
Do you let yourself still enjoy it, though? Do you let yourself, have a moment where, bro, we really did. We swept the Bengals. That's a big deal to sweep the Bengals.
Yeah, I feel like winning, of course, when you get that win, that's the most important thing, definitely. But, 24 hours, I go by the 24-hour rule. So you got 24 hours to celebrate, and then you're back to work.
Yep. Yeah. And then it's back to, we got to get this defense back.
We got to be a great professional.
Hey, the Arthur Millette Show is brought to you this week by our friends at Grade 8's Memorabilia. Great to have my guy Chris Rowling from Grade 8's out here this week. He's been doing a lot of great stuff for the community, and there's a lot of more events. In fact, Tavius Robinson is going to be with him at Cook Automotive in Aberdeen on December 7th. Also an event with Keaton Mitchell December 7th at Wise Markets in Haverty Grace, former Arthur Millette Show guest. And our buddy Project Pat Ricard, December 9th as well at Safford Brown Toyota in Glen Burnie. You can find out more. All of these are going to raise money and also toys for those in need this holiday season. So you can go to great8sbaltimore.com in order to find out more about all of those. All right, so
what'd you guys do?
Well, I know what this guy did.
We saw this man was away.
This man was a world traveler. He took advantage of his little mini-bike. Hey, where did you go?
I went to Clearwater, Florida.
I thought it was like Brazil.
It was so funny. Like one of the homies were like, "Did you go to Hawaii, bro? Did you go to Bahamas?" I'm like, "Bro, I was in Florida. Like, we only had 2 days to really relax. Like, I can't go just across the world."
What were you doing?
Man,
well, we know what you weren't doing. You weren't paddle boating well.
Man, it was a rude awakening for me, bro. Like, I was really mad.
Okay, wait. Tell us the whole story.
Okay, first of all, had a great weekend in Clearwater. It's really nice.
Should we say why Clearwater? I don't feel like it's the first place that people think of to like.
Yes, I mean, I just feel as though like Clearwater's quiet. It's not too many people. It's kind of ducked off.
Now I'm in.
It's fairly like cheap too, and you can have a really nice outing. Food's really good. I went to this place called Caesars. It's an Italian spot, the best lasagna I ever had. I was tempted to freeze some lasagna and bring it back to Baltimore.
That's something I do.
Yeah, literally. Like I'm such a foodie like that. Like that lasagna was that good.
Yes, love it.
But yeah, the beach was nice. They said Clearwater is like a salty beach, and obviously with me falling in the water 3 times, I figured that.
Okay, wait. So you had never paddle boarded before?
I've never paddle boated, and like I'm looking at it, it's like all you got to do is stay still and just stroke one.
It doesn't seem.
It does left,
right,
left, right. So me, I'm like, man, I'm an athlete. I'm a professional athlete. This is not hard. It's not surfing. You know what I'm saying? It's a paddle boat. Just stay still and paddle. So I get on the little board, and I stroke 1 time, stroke 2 times, and by the 3rd time, off it. Just so like I didn't realize, when you're in the ocean, you don't realize how far you are from like the land because you're floating so much, right? So a guy comes on the jet ski. He's like, "Bro, you're kind of far out. Like, you okay?" Because at this point, like, I'm like, bro, I'm done standing up. I'm just like on the paddleboard, just like chilling, just relaxing, and just just enjoying the weather, right? Because it's cold up here. It's 40. It's like 78 down there.
Right.
And obviously I'm far away at this point, but I don't realize how far I am. So I have to paddle back.
Yeah, you're not concerned.
So like, one point I'm just like sitting like legs out and just pedaling like this, not standing up because I don't want to fall. You know, I'm like, bro, I'm an athlete. Like, I have to get up and paddle so I can get there faster. It did not work. I fell twice, so I just sat down and paddled my way back for the rest of the 15 minutes while I was there.
Wait, how many other people were out there with you?
Just me.
Just you and this guy that came by on
Yeah,
the jet
because
ski.
he was on a jet ski because I was so far. I didn't realize how far it was.
So the really difficult part is if like you're out there and you see people that are like they look a little bit more like me,
Yeah,
like they
and
don't
they're
look
like
athletes.
just, exactly, no problem. And it literally was a dude looked like you on a paddleboard. When I'm going out to the water, he's going back in. He's just smooth stroking, just la 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 la, and I'm over here just fall, fall. It's like, man, let me just sit down Indian style and just go ahead and get back to shore, man. But it definitely humbled me.
So you're naturally believe that like you're capable of most, like when you go somewhere, your kind of hubris as an athlete is like,
yeah,
I can
I'm naturally talented to do a lot of things, right? But you know, it was a rude awakening for me.
Anything else? Anything else on the list of like I tried it, it ain't like for me. Golf is that I have tried golf.
I'm definitely a weed whacker in golf. Like I'm not even trying that.
Right.
But
I'm not
baseball.
even good at Top Golf.
Baseball, baseball.
Oh,
I'm horrible.
remember we talked about this on the last
Exactly.
show.
Like baseball, like I tell everybody, baseball, people are like, oh, baseball players are so easy, they're not in shape. And I'm like, bro, if you don't understand how to hit the ball or even throw it to the mound, like, it's really hard. I can only imagine a shortstop or an outfielder. Like, I'm just like, yo, man, they got it, man. I see why they get paid the big bucks.
Tavius,
Sure.
what about you?
What about you, bro?
Is there anything you've tried, like, I can do this, look at me, look how big I can do this, and you've been humbled by?
Zip lining. It's something I'll never do again.
How? Wait,
You
wait.
just literally
Yeah, how can you be bad at zip lining?
The way it was moving, like I just didn't trust it. Like, it felt like it was about to fall at any second. So like, and the weight limits, like you never know, like where it's at. So it's just I had a bad experience.
Now I
with
can
that,
understand it being a little nervous
The weight
about the weight
limit,
limit.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
did you actually do it, or did you get up there and just say, "Nah, I'm out"?
Yeah, I went on it, but like while I was going, like
You just kind of felt like it was dropping a little bit.
Yeah. So that was my last time ever doing that.
And said, "That's it.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I don't ever need to accomplish this again."
All right, well, thank you, bro. I'm not ziplining.
Yeah.
Zip lining is great. You don't have to have any skill to zip line.
I'm scared of zip lining as well. So,
Really?
Yeah.
You ziplined before?
I've zip line. I've jumped out of a plane before.
Oh no.
I'm actually interested.
You've never done it?
They said it's just a jump.
My son and I were going to do it for his birthday one year, and then we both chickened out, and then just went to the place out
High
White
Fly,
Marsh
yeah,
at High
yeah.
Fly instead.
Yeah, it's good, but it's not the same. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, I did it, and I was nervous as hell.
Yeah.
But you don't really do anything. All you do is just fall out of the plane, and then
And you're attached to someone,
yeah,
right?
you're attached to somebody. They don't let you go by yourself.
Bro, I'll be attached to someone and sleep. Like, fainted. Like,
As we're coming down, the guy's like, "Do you want to drive?" I'm like, "No, bro, I don't want to do that. You know what you're doing. You get us
Land
on
us,
the ground,
yeah.
right? Like, I don't want to take control of anything."
yeah, not me. I would probably have a heart attack in the air, bro.
Tavius,
Sorry.
what are your secret skills? Like, what are the things that you're really good at?
Snowboarding, something I did a little bit back.
Okay, so you're from Canada. Like, this makes sense,
That makes
right?
sense.
Like,
Yes,
of course.
yeah.
So, did you always did you play other winter sports? Did you ever play hockey? Did you ever?
No, skate. Because one thing I can't do is skate. I can't skate very
How do
well.
you survive in Canada not
Not
being able to
skate.
skate?
Like,
right?
they're like, bro, we're going to the skating rink now, bro. Y'all
See,
go.
I would go, but the problem is I couldn't stop. So like, I could skate, but like, you know how everyone does that fancy
That
stop? Yeah, I could never do that.
I lived in Michigan, and they had all the kids that knew how to skate all the time, and I'm going around, and I'm like holding like my back brake on the side, and they're like slowly, you know what I'm saying? And they're over there putting ice on me and shit. I'm like, you old guys suck, bro.
I can't skate either, actually.
So can anyone roller skate?
Yeah, I can roller skate.
can.
Like
Roller
roller
skate.
blade or like force.
Whichever.
I can do it. Yeah, I can do it.
You can do four or blade. You can do blade.
I can do blade, yeah.
Okay, but
Blade's easy.
I can do both.
Okay, so you can do both.
I can do both, but I can't ice skate at all to save my life.
Yeah.
It's a nightmare.
Yeah.
I can't even I'm hugging onto the thing on the side.
You got the little.
Right? Oh my God! I'm a 40-year-old man with a walker in front of me.
That's me. Don't worry about it. It's
That's
good.
me as well.
That's all of us.
It's just like, But you could
Camaraderie.
competitively snowmo. Like if you. No.
No, not competitively. No, like
Oh.
I can go down like probably like Blue Hills, maybe Black Hills.
Okay.
But other than that, like not competitively. No.
What about? Did you ever do like curling? in Canada?
No, never did curling.
Curling's fun, man.
So-
I've done that.
Yeah,
It's fun.
never tried it.
So what's Blue Hill, Black Hill? You gotta explain that. Some people probably don't know that.
So it goes. I think green is the first one, and then blue is like medium, like the higher
it's
up
the
you go.
difficulty.
Oh,
Okay.
So there's
Gotcha,
like I think there's like black diamond, like it goes all the way
it goes
up to,
all the way.
It's
Yeah.
like skiing. It's the same
Yeah.
concept,
Alright,
the
yeah,
craziness of the hill.
I'm not messing with it.
Yeah. What about skiing? Do you ski at all?
No skiing.
Okay,
Just snowboard,
like, that's the thing. All right, please make some noise for Arthur Millette and Tavius Robinson, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
If you're struggling with addiction, stigma can keep people from reaching out, but there is help available. For more information on what you can do about addiction, go to stopoverdose.maryland.gov. When we come back in, we're gonna end up talking a lot because it is a pretty big week this week
Yes,
for the team, for you.
It's a big
week. There's a lot. So we're gonna talk about it over the course of the next couple of segments. And I know you're excited about the fight Saturday night, so we're talking the fight on Saturday night. So we'll talk about that. Press Box 105.7 The Fan. It's the Arthur Millette Show live from Mother's North Grill in Timonium.